the Twitch. I need to pull up the chat. I guess I don't have to. Like, who cares? But maybe it's helpful.
Just ignore. After saying we'd do a Q&A, just ignore the chat completely.
Yeah, who cares? I mean, I've often said that our audience is just not good. Like,
You've stressed this many times.
they support us. Like, how smart can you be?
Dude, the last 10 minutes of our show today was like bordering on experimental, where I just seemingly like just talked everyone into corners. I asked Jack why he doesn't watch the NBA, and he started with, when I was a young kid. And I was like, oh no. I thought he was going to get really dramatic, and then he just goes, I just haven't really watched this year. I was like, okay, sure, Jack, whatever. Good evening, Ray. JJ, Dude, JJ got really aggressive on Patreon. Did you see that, Jeremy? He threatened me.
No, I didn't. JJ,
he said,
what are we doing?
He said, listen here, motherfucker, if you come after Total Non-Stop Action Wrestling again, it's over for you.
Did he really?
He didn't say any of those words, but that's the way I read it, you know.
Let's see what JJ actually said.
Yeah, I think he agreed. This was on the
TNA
the podcast. Yeah, it was on the podcast with Bob and I. He commented on it today, I think. Right. We appreciate it, JJ. I'm just messing.
Oh yeah, you said this is very aggressive.
It's just the tone a little bit down the stretch. It got a little bit heated.
Yeah,
you know? I
can see it. I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob O'Neill is here. Bob, I just said this to Jeremy when we were off there, but I'll do it on because it's Twitch and less people watch it, so I can put you over. Just watching you flourish, man, on these pods has been so fucking fun for me. Like, honestly, it really has. I love it. Like, just when you first came on, you were kind of standoffish because you thought we were all assholes, and I get that. But like, you seem to really have fun. It's tremendous stuff. I think the people like it too. I mean, there's a couple of people that think you're just an actual prick, which I think is unfair. But I think most people really enjoy having you as part of the universe. JJ says no heat, just being honest. Sounds like someone would say that as heat with me. Dude, I've got so much heat, Jeremy. It's bad. It's so bad, man. It's really is not good fun. Like, I'm trying to end it and no one wants to. And that's when you know it's real heat, right? When you're like, sorry, and you just get nothing. It's very bad. That Bob impression of the thick boy fish, bro, when he did every time I see that photo and I see his face in it, it's like, that's art. That's one of the best things that show's ever produced. Dan, how are you? We're doing good, my friend. Look, I get it. I understand. If you don't follow Bob on Twitter, I could see why you're like, why is he on the program, right?
Yeah.
But he's a good guy, Bob O'Neill.
I mean, I honestly don't like him, but for some reason, keeps coming on the show. Silly Soccer Saturdays. Thanks for subscribing. Just followed and then subscribed. My God.
That's a pal.
Okay.
But I don't know if I don't know where kayfabe is. So I'm just going to just say thanks.
Okay.
You never know with a fave these days.
Fair.
JJ Fairley says, you give me heat for Mike Sanders for no reason. That stays fair. That is somewhat harsh. I'll agree. Jay Ben, how are you?
O'Neill says, if you don't follow me on Twitter, you should not. My tweets are very bad. I mean, that's factual. That's very true. I told him that today.
Franco's putting over the Bronson deal that we were just talking about. He did that shit in a suit on NXT, bro.
Yeah, I know.
In a suit.
Dude, I can't
They dressed that man up in a suit and he did the face. Like, come on,
I can't help but think of... Dude, he has to. Like, they got to do this shit every single time. It doesn't matter what. Bronson Reed could be running out for the save, and he's like, got to do the face first. Like,
so dumb. Like,
it's so produced.
His personality doesn't fit having a produced entrance because he's just like a chill guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's a badass, but he's not someone like... So when Frankie Monet comes out, she has that elaborate entrance. Like, that's perfect for her because the whole thing is she's like big time, right? She would do that. She'd be arrogant enough to do that. And it's like, I'm looking... Bronson Reed's just like a likable, understated badass. Why would he have a produced entrance where he stares down the camera? It just... Stuff like that really irritates me. I've got to be honest. Like, Karrion Kross is the same. It's like, he's an absolute badass killer. But he also does that entrance.
Fall and pray, Joseph. Fall and pray.
So dumb.
Baseball is best. We spent, not Joseph and I, but there was a 3-minute segment on baseball and the distraction today. So it was right up your alley.
Yeah. That was probably only you, but still.
Well, I do want to talk about this. Dan mentions this, the Javi play. Joseph, you'll have no idea. If O'Neal
what
is,
are we doing, Jeremy? Why the fuck are we talking about baseball again? What are we doing?
if O'Neal is still in the chat, he will understand what's going on with this play. That was something else. Like this was. You again. There you go. O'Neal says it. All he had to do was step on first. And he tried to chase the guy, and they gave up a run. Just shit like that is fun. I'm not. Again, baseball's the bottom of my four sports, but that was tremendous. All right, Joseph, what do you want to talk about? Talk about basketball.
J Ben says, I don't know if I missed the NBA talk. You did not.
No.
Will the Heat make it serious tonight?
Let's talk hoops.
I honestly don't think so, bro. I think they'll win a game because I think the Bucks will have another bad shooting night on the road.
Yeah.
The first game they didn't shoot the ball. I think they'll do it again, and I think they'll lose one. But I feel like it's a wrap. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. What's different with the Heat? Are they different if Oladipo's there? Because I kind of feel like, I don't want to dismiss him, but like he's not what he was, you know?
Yeah, he's definitely not. I think what's different is I don't think they were like bubble frauds or anything last year. I do think that's a term people are using, Joseph. You heard of it?
I know, it's so good. It's so good, man.
I do think
frauds.
Yeah. I do think that like the bubble did take away it put everybody kind of on that even playing field. Because I tweeted this and Pulowski agreed, but of course he's a Bucks homer. But like the Bucks were so good at home last year, and then that got taken away in the bubble. Like you're playing in actual like hostile environments. You're not just playing in front of nobody where you can kind of be relaxed. Jimmy Butler's serving everybody coffee, and it's like, oh hey,
right.
All you can do is go to the gym and like train and stuff. And like Butler lives for that shit. Like when there's actual shit going on around and whatnot, like it's a little bit more of a mental game in that regards. And TJ Warren was like great in the bubble, and then
right.
How good was TJ Warren this season?
I also think like Drew's
a game changer.
Awesome. Yeah, he's awesome, man. He really is.
Drew, I mean, he's slightly better than Eric Bledsoe, but yeah, he's a complete game changer. Tyler Hero not being like great, and I do think that was a complete just like bubble situation of like, man, I don't know, I ain't trying to overreact to like Tyler Hero going off in the bubble and having some strong shooting games. I still think where are you on? I know you joked about this with me on text, but like where are you actually on like the Hero Harden thing? Do you think that if Pat Riley was just like, yeah, you can have Tyler Hero, this deal would have happened?
Okay, before we do that, I do want to shout out Drew Nicholas, who was very nice, and we said Drew is awesome, and he thought we was talking about him. We do also think you're awesome.
Yes, you
but,
are.
I just want to get that because he's great. But I don't know, but I 100% believe the perception that if that was the case, Pat wasn't giving up Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
And that rules so much. That's when you watch him now. Look, here's the thing: we have to be real about this. It's not be overreactive. Like he's very young.
Yeah.
And he has some very natural assets that are impressive, no doubt. It's nothing to panic about. But, like, James Harden. Like we're really talking about one of the great scorers in the history of the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, who, by the way, has shown in Brooklyn, in my opinion, I think this is consensus, he's shown that he really is desperate to win, man. Like, him and Butler as a duo would have been something.
It would.
And now it's, obviously, because I do feel like Bam's great. I don't want to dismiss Bam because he's the kind of player I love, but like he isn't a natural scorer of the ball.
Dude, the way they're guarding Bam, like they have no respect for his scoring. They're in the paint and they're just like completely sagging off on him.
I feel like he used to shoot little mid-range.
I feel like he used to too. That's why when I saw the way they were guarding him in this series, I was like, they're like daring him to shoot that mid-range and he's just not doing it.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, look, I think it's difficult. I think we have to remember, and we have to be realistic. When Jimmy Butler went to Miami, not one person said, that's a finals team.
Yeah.
We all said, they're going to be a bottom half of the playoffs. Fine. I mean, it looks like this year they're going to be what we kind of expected them to be last year. You know? And I don't know if is that a case of them overperforming last year so much so that now we're confused why they're going in the first round? Because, like, you look at the team, it's a good team. Butler as a first option, surrounded by those pieces, did not scream holy shit, put them in the finals last year.
Yeah.
I think it's just they're back to the mean. You know, they've regressed to the mean almost.
I think the finals run actually hurts them in that sense, though,
Right.
because like if they just go out in the first round or the second round, they played the Bucks in the second round, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who'd they play in the first round? It was like Indiana. I think it was
Indiana.
Yeah.
Yes, it was in the
Okay.
4-5. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So whatever. If they play the Bucks in the second round, lose to the Bucks, I think then people see like, all right, this is like a good team. Maybe they're like a piece away from getting there. And then like there's no doubt that it's like, yeah, throw in Tyler Hero for this James Harden trade. Whatever it takes to get Chris Paul after the season Chris Paul had in OKC. Whatever it takes to get somebody. If you want to go after like Beal or Lowry or whoever, like whatever it takes to get these guys, because we made it to the second round. You know, who knows how competitive they are with the Bucks. Let's say they go 6 with the Bucks. And then so they do that. And it's like Butler's good, but he's also like how old is Jimmy Butler? And he's only 31. But still, you don't know how guys are gonna like kind of decline in this league and everything. So I would say that I think that might have been better for them because they did go to the finals. It's like, oh man, they're this young. They're already this good. These guys are going to improve next season. Like they're going to get even better. This team's going to be even better. And then like it didn't come to fruition.
And here's what's telling is this off season just went, and I say just went, we're in the playoffs, but like it doesn't feel like it's been a long season because they've jam packed it in so much, right?
Yeah.
Dude, none of us were talking about Miami for the East.
No.
None of us was.
No.
We all, and every Miami fan, rightly so, I respect it. We're getting disrespected, but it's like, I don't know, like, or was it a case of we all kind of saw the truth there? Because maybe I'm wrong, Drew, but I remember vividly, like, listening to podcasts, reading stuff. The East was all about Bucks, and people were talking about Celtics. The Sixers were on the fringe of it because of their season last year, but no one was really like rushing to put Miami back in the finals. It just. I think you're right in some way. As weird as it sounds, overperforming to that degree probably made Pat Riley make those guys more indispensable than they are. You know, a guy like Duncan Robinson comes to mind, who's like, he's a great shooter. But when you've seen him get you to the finals that shooting, I think it puts them on a level that's hard to trade away. It's difficult, definitely.
Yeah.
Very much so. Tope Suicida says, just getting in about halfway done with today's distraction. You guys are a better big three than Pierce, Allen, and KG. My God. I wonder who's who. Paul Pierce appears to be out of his mind. Tope Suicide also says, Joe, I'm going to the Sixers Wizards Saturday. Oh, that's awesome. Super excited for my first live event in a year and a half. So wait, so you're going to the first road game, right?
Yeah,
that's pretty neat.
One. No.
The Sixers generally get good away support.
They should. Can the fans like not throw popcorn on Russell Westbrook?
Okay, look, we have to discuss this.
Okay.
The Philly fans were giving Russ like a standing ovation.
Yeah.
You know, so like, firstly, it is a single asshole, which is important.
Yes, it is.
I also think like we need to, like 100% ban him from the arena. Piece of shit, dude. People talking about arresting the dude. Can we just be a little calm? It's not get carried away. It's not arrest people. It's just ban him from the arena.
Yeah.
That's enough, right? You're never going back. Like, it's cool. It's just, I don't know, man. Because the thing is, there's so much shit that's said. I think this is where culturally maybe, like, my experience of football games here makes me, like, come across like a lunatic. Because people are just horrible here. We have a thing called terrace humour, where you will chant the most vile shit, and it's, like, accepted. And I like that the NBA's that way. If one fan says something dumb, fuck that fan. You know, get him out. I don't know if we need to be arresting anyone. Should we ban him for life? Absolutely.
Look, I don't know if you need to arrest people. Yeah, the Knicks fans spit on Trae Young as well. Like, just this is an issue in the NBA, and it has been. And like Westbrook is certainly a target of a lot of it. And I know Westbrook is very brash on the court, and Westbrook talks a lot of shit to a lot of fans on the court.
Right.
But
that doesn't make it right.
Right. Yeah. Like that's honestly like that's just almost the gamesmanship of everything, because the fans are sitting that close. Like no other sport are the fans as close as they are in the NBA. At least in my. Am I wrong? Like.
No, I agree, but like, see, this is where, to me, I always found it staggering more stuff didn't happen.
Yeah.
And that's, let me stress again, I'm not saying that's because it's right. I'm saying, like, the shit that we see, like Franco says it here in away matches with Newcastle, like, it's just different. So when I see the popcorn thing, I'm just like, oh, that's dumb. I think I kind of have to adjust myself a little bit. Like, that's wrong. I get it's wrong. Spitting is just generally like a scummy thing.
Yeah.
But in a pandemic, it's like, fuck, man. You know? It's no good. I'm not here to defend it by any means. It's a shame, though, because they were giving him a standing ovation. Because I think Philly respects, like, the way he plays. Because he plays, he's hard-nosed, right? I mean, it's ironic, because the thing with Russell, and you know this better than anyone, is, like, he's super intense and hard-nosed, also makes many dumb plays defensively, but, like, he's so intense that you kind of just like, he means well, you know? It is what it is. What we got here? Nothing is funnier than the Clippers giving Luke Kennard $60 million and then playing him 0 minutes in the play. Bro, I don't know why I even let the Clippers do this shit. Like, they actually had me convinced again they were going to be good, and, like, they're just like losers, man. I don't know what the deal is. I guess it is that there's truth to the idea that Kawhi's not a leader or whatever the hell. I guess that's it. I don't think their team's better this year, but they should be better than losing 2 straight. Maybe Dallas is just better than them, bro.
Dude,
I don't know.
Let's talk about my guy, Playoff P, in playoff form, Joseph.
You gotta chill on Paul George, man. This poor guy.
Love it.
He gets hammered, man. I feel bad for him. I gotta be honest.
He should. No, fuck Paul George.
I get it, but like at this point, it's almost like a parody of itself, you know?
Yeah, but you know, as a Thunder fan, I don't care.
Has there ever been a player as talented as Paul George on both ends that you expect to play well in playoffs as little as Paul George? Like, it's comedic now. Like, if he plays well, it's like, holy shit. He's actually turned up for this. It's wild, man. I feel for the guy.
I don't. Fuck him.
I get that. You have a reason to be like more heated with it. I understand.
The thing is like, I kind of don't, because that team clearly was going nowhere, and
exactly.
Like, we got Shea and their entire future and everything. Like, I should be like, thanks and everything, but I'm mad at him because of the 2 seasons that he was there. He made me believe, like, oh man, like maybe this team could make some noise in the playoffs when he's there, and then it just never happened. And then they tried to scapegoat Russ, and and then he left the way he did and everything, which, again, bless him, it turned out great for OKC. But it ended the Russ era in OKC, which it probably needed to, but that's still, like, it was tough. Right. Now, I love watching Paul George. I love watching him play this kind of basketball. It's great. It's tremendous.
You know, I did a lot of fantasy booking on the show today. Can I do a little bit more? If Doc Rivers, King Doc, leads the Philadelphia 76ers from the 6th seed to a championship this year, is that like the best glow up in the history of basketball? Because when he went out of the bubble, my friend, Doc Rivers was like a clown. Like, people were dunking all over him. Yeah. They could get swept this year, Jeremy. Ty Lue, I love the Doc quote where he goes, well, Ty Lue was sitting next to me.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that, by the way. Like, when a team sucks, don't hire the assistant, bro. Like, I like the idea of a fresh start. They look like they're set to be swept to me. It feels like a sweep.
I don't. So here's the thing with the Clippers. I'm with you in that, like, man, until they lose that final game, I still have faith in them, because you look at you're just like, man, this team, they should be good. They should be good, right? Dude, their scheme for Luka is so bad. Like, so bad. Like, I'm astounded that for the 2nd straight year, I'm astounded that they give up on the screen so easily.
Pat Bev
dude, I love that. Pat Bev got y'all tricked. We
should laugh at him when Luka just brushes him off. Yeah. Like, oh no,
dude, Luka's actively seeking him. But this is my issue, is like, they give that up so easily. Like, Luka is actively, like, pointing it out and, like, okay, where's Beverly, where's Jackson and stuff. Kawhi and George know it's coming, and it's just like, okay, yeah, we'll just switch it. We'll just let it go on. Bro, it's so bad.
I don't care. I know that Rondo's playoff history is great, and I respect him as a pro, but, like, we should have known what was happening when it was man, we need Rajon Rondo to guide this offense. Like, I know he's a great pro, but look how much talent this team has, and they're still running the point guards of like Pat Bev, Reggie Jackson, and Rajon Rondo. Like it's just, I don't know, man. And here's the craziest part: what the hell do they do now?
So here's the thing. There's a couple of things that I want to get to. Somebody said, Chocolate says, would you have rather kept Sabonis and Oladipo? Look, Sabonis is very good. I like Sabonis. Oladipo, it's tough because like the injuries kind of killed him, right? Like that first season in Indiana, he was great, and now he's just like, I don't even know. Like he can't even stay healthy, and when he's on the court, like he's just not good. I'm taking Shea over Sabonis though. Like Shea's better. The year of Gallinari was like fine. Like, and then we got all these picks. Like all of these picks. I would. The Paul George trade worked out because it ended up with Shea and a bunch of picks, right? Like it's tough to be. All right.
That MVP candidate year, like I get why you don't look at it fondly because the way it ended, but like he was fun to watch.
Oh yeah, he was.
Right?
Dude, I love that team. In the regular season until Paul George got hurt his shoulder, and then it was like, oh man, not going to be great. Yeah, no. You still make that trade. Like if you're OKC, you still make that trade. Somebody says, and I think this is what Dan's talking about. He said I think they at least look into trading P, and I assume that means like the Clippers. If oh yeah, Dan said it earlier. If Kawhi leaves, do you think the Clippers do a fire sale, recoup some picks they lost to get Kawhi and PG? So here's the thing, and you just mentioned it, Joseph, of like what do they do if they lose this? Like if they lose in the first round too. Kawhi's a free agent, so a lot's gonna hinge on him, right? Like if he comes back, then I just don't know how you can run this back, though. Kawhi's going to come back, and then you're like, all right, let's run it back. Kawhi and George after losing in the first round. Now, like, you're going to fire the coach again for a second straight season? The pieces around them, like, obviously it would help to get better pieces. The problem with trying to get better pieces, you have no cap room to sign anybody. For some reason, you just gave Luke Kennard $60 million to
Marcus Morris is making a bunch too. Yeah. He's also getting paid.
Like you have no cap. There's not a lot of value on these guys. You have no first round picks to try to trade for anybody. Like you've almost got to trade. You've almost got to trade Paul George, and like he just re-signed a big deal. And look, George has value. Some team out there is definitely going to be like, oh yeah, I'll take Paul George. But like if Kawhi says, yeah, I'm back, you've almost got to trade Paul George. And if Kawhi says I'm out, you're gonna try to build around Paul George,
right? So J Ben here, 500 bits. We appreciate it, my friend. He says. He dedicates these to Matisse Tybals, 5 blocks. See that, Jeremy? 5 blocks in 90 minutes. He also says, and this is why I transition with it, I predict Kawhi ends up in Miami with Butler in a sign and trade.
Okay.
See, the problem with that is because I understand the idea that Kawhi has the power. You're going to get Sam from me if we do it this way. But, like, who you get? You know?
I mean, you got to give up. It's a sign and trade, so Miami would have the leverage. But I don't know if Miami have the cap room to just straight up sign him? Because if they have the cap room to straight up sign him, then
I don't do that. So. I think that would be the be the kind of the back.
You got to give up Dragic to make just make the money work because Goran's making pretty good money. You got to give up him. I think you got to give up one of Duncan and Hero.
For like Bam, you need Bam's contract. I feel.
Let me see. It depends. I guess it depends on what like Kawhi signs for. I mean, he's gonna sign a max.
Look at the Clippers then, though. Like, I mean, Bam's cool and all, but like Bam and PG in the West, like you're rolling with that.
Yeah,
like,
good.
I don't know, man.
Good.
Yeah, I get it.
You should roll with that.
This is the problem, man. It's really hard to trade stars. So like, someone will trade for Paul George, but you're not going to get as good a player back because obviously for all the clowning and stuff, he's still better probably than the players you're going to get in a trade. I don't know. It's very, very difficult because his value won't be high if they lose in the first round. So you're going to... Almaic says, Kawhi's staying. If he prioritised winning, he would have stayed in Toronto. And like, that also could be true.
Dude, they give Iguodala... You don't have to give up... Oh, Bam's big contract's going to kick in. You've got to give up... See, I don't think... They give up Bam, obviously. You give up Bam if you can get Kawhi. But I think they want to find a way to keep Bam. You got to give up Oladipo. Oladipo's unrestricted though, so like his contract comes off the books.
Dude, the Clippers haven't got a pick for like 18 years.
No.
This is very sad times. This is very bad.
Yeah. The Heat don't really have like they've traded away a lot of their picks too.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not like they're like strapped with draft picks either. You make
Just
it
as a
you make it work.
where-
Like we've seen these things in the NBA, right? Like if you want if Kawhi's like, hey, I want to go to Miami. Miami's like, okay, who we moving? What do we got to do to get him?
Kawhi. Yeah, it's very. I think an interesting question is, just as a fan of basketball, like which scenario interests you most for Kawhi? Is there one where you go, that would just be fun to watch? Because Kawhi is, I mean, like, I experienced it firsthand when we played against the Raptors. Like, he's incredible.
Yeah.
I think this Clippers run has shown, though, that he probably needs a good team culture around him that can do that stuff while he just focuses on being a killer, you know?
Yeah.
I also think it's obvious defensively he's not, like, he's cool. He's kind of chill in that end. So, what can we kind of do here?
I kind of like the Miami deal. Like, I kind of like if he goes there, especially if Miami gets bounced, like the way they look like they're getting bounced.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Sixers are pretty much bringing back the same team, I would imagine.
Yes, I think so.
The Bucks.
That's interesting though. Is if the Sixers, I hate saying this because I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't want it to happen. If the Sixers fall apart, do you start looking at a? Let me think. Try and figure this out.
You got to do Tobias, right?
Well, I was gonna get wild. I was gonna
Okay.
say something. I don't want. I was actually about to say a sentence that I can't believe it went through my head. I'm gonna leave it. I'm not even gonna say it.
Oh, are you?
I was gonna say Ben Simmons and like nearly had a heart attack.
I was gonna say Ben. You're gonna go Simmons. Wait.
Well, I was just trying to think because star players, it's very hard, and like Ben is amazing.
Yeah.
But in terms of max level players, like he's one of the ones you can kind of see that for, right?
Right.
'Cause most guys, I feel like off the board, I'm not even going. It's too scary. The thing with Miami is, and J-Ben mentioned, which is important, he said, Butler was the top of his list. Kawhi's list of guys he wants to play with, Butler was one. George was like next, I believe, I want to say. When they did the whole thing where he basically held the Clippers ransom and said, get these players now. And the thing is, he's like, they'd be killer, but at the same time, it's kind of wild that it seems like he's desperate to play with another two-way wing. It's like, why?
Yeah, it is weird because like
two-way wing?
it is very strange because like the team that won the title in Toronto, like he was that guy. Like Siakam, it was good forward, and Siakam was very good in that year. And then like Lowry ran the bulk of the offense. Like I kind of think Miami has the same issue that the Clippers have of like, especially if you're giving up like Dragic or something, like who's your point guard? Like who's actually like running the offense and playmaking there?
Here's the thing though. I agree with it, but the difference is we know that Butler has evolved into that guy in some regard. Like he's great at getting involved. Yeah. And the biggest thing I think is Spoelstra's offense is just like
it's better, yeah. It's much better.
It's so much more complex, and you can get everyone involved more. Whereas the Clippers are just like walking it up and figuring it out. So this is interesting. Shroom Goon, great name, says Kawhi to the Knicks. They have 2 first-rounders and a ton of cap. Holy, now we're cooking. Go. Imagine, bro. Imagine the party in New York City. Statue immediately built, right? The claw. Great stuff.
Here's the thing with, and I'll be nice with Paul George here. Paul George,
a little bit late for that, Jeremy.
Fuck Paul George. He did become like a better playmaker this year. I do think it comes down to like Spoelstra's offense is just better. Like he'll get better looks, easier looks in that offense. You still you just need that guard who's just gonna take like the pressure off of those guys though, because like Butler, he's not really like a super ISO sort of player with that stuff. That's gonna like, and Kawhi's not that guy either, and that's like the knock on George too. Like you just need like a guard who can kind of get everybody going there, and I don't know. I've been talked into this Knicks thing almost 2 first-rounders in the cap space. Man, if the Clippers got to get some first back because like.
Yeah, that could be something. Imagine that, man. The East would be kind of like the the Nets-Knicks game would be big TV then. I don't even know if it would rate well, but like they would make it an event.
Yeah.
Kawhi and KD and Clay. I mean, the Nets are, we can be honest, they're terrifying. Because they're not even like, they're not even like playing ISO ball. They're like sharing
Oh
it, and
yeah.
they're playing selflessly, and it's just horrible to
See,
see. It's not good.
I think you can do this against the Celtics because the Celtics suck. This is why I'm so excited for this Nets and Bucks matchup, which
Yes.
it seems like we're pretty much getting at this point. Like I'm so excited for this because the Bucks, they're gonna fuck some things up on that Nets offense. Like to put it nicely, like that Nets offense, it ain't gonna run like this smoothly all the time against the Bucks. The Celtics. I mean, Marcus Smart, he might be the next guy who got y'all tricked when it comes to defending. Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum just like I think he has the tools to do it. I just don't know. Kemba ain't guarding people. They're playing Jabari Parker minutes. Like Tristan Thompson's out there trying to defend pick and rolls and shit. Like
It fucking rules.
it
It
just
rules. Do you remember when they were the team of the decade and shit, and they were like locked in?
Brad Stevens. Would you rather have Brad Stevens or LeBron, Joseph?
It's the best.
That's my
It's so
favorite.
fun.
That's one of my favorite NBA Twitter bullshit stuff.
It's very weird how much, like I said, I think I said this before we went on the air, but like when they swept us last year, Powers and mine that bought Boston were like, Sixers are doomed, and it's like they're in the exact same position now where they had a terrible season and then one of their young stars got injured before the playoffs, so they can kind of hang their hat on this idea that like, yeah, but we didn't have Jaylen Brown. It's like, nah, man, you guys were doomed. Like you're playing the Nets, you were getting killed.
Yeah, dude. I like Jaylen Brown too, but like the team wasn't even good during the regular season. You know, like it's not even like they were lighting the world on fire in the regular season. I think that would be one thing if it's like, oh, okay, they're like they're a competitive like 4 or 5 seed. They just ran into the Nets and that was it. Like, man, y'all won the play-in game and then just. All right, you didn't have Jaylen Brown, but like Jaylen Brown, maybe you get a game with him. Yeah, I'm Cracker Jack says it. Like maybe you win a game with Jaylen there, and maybe some games are like closer, but it's just not a good team. They weren't a good team all season. I don't know why.
It's the same thing, man. Last year when we got swept by Boston, there were Sixers fans that were like, "Yeah, we suck," but if you look at the head-to-heads, we played Boston well. If we had Ben, it's like, bro, we're not good. Just sharp, like, yeah, if we did this, if we did that, but if we actually had some shooting and was a good team, same for Boston. If they had Jaylen Brown, they'd be in a better position. Guess what? They'd also need a bench would be useful. This team
Jeff
they've
Teague
got,
ain't the answer off the
bro,
bench.
it's full on like my league shit.
Yeah.
When you get a few years into a my league and it's like, fuck, that guy's taking a minimum now. It's like, yeah, he's 37 and he sucks.
Yeah.
Like that's that's the deal. Like, and someone like Tristan Thompson, like, I think he's fine, but he hasn't really played competitive basketball for years because the Cavaliers sucked so much that he was just kind of, these guys they're just not ready to be playing at that level. To me, anyway, like when they were starting him at the start of the season, that first game they played, bro, they started with Tice and Tristan Thompson as a front court. Like, why? Why would you ever do that? But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Brad Stevens.
Baseball as Us says Joe Harris, good 3-point shooters, Curry and Clay. There's a difference. Like Joe Harris is just like a spot up, knockdown shooter. Yeah, he's just as good. But like Steph is doing step backs, like wild shit to get his threes. And Clay's kind of the same way. So Clay's not as wild as Steph. I don't think anybody's as wild as Steph. But yeah, if you're just looking for a guy in a 3-point shooting contest, Joe Harris is. I mean, he's right up there with them. But there's levels to, the kind of threes that you're taking.
Yeah, it just spot up. All 3 guys stand on the same spot. Joe Harris is as good as anyone ever, probably.
Yeah.
Like he's incredible. But it's just, as you said, you can't compare. And the fact that Steph's percentage is what it has been, especially in recent months, taking the shots he takes, is like disgusting. It's not fair.
Double teams, triple teams as well. Like, yeah, it's completely different than Joe Harris, who's just getting clean looks, and bless him, he's knocking them down. But Steph shooting is honestly like that's a way different level.
100%. So I'm talking about Boston here. I'm Crackerjack's having some fun at their lack of bigs. He is a fan of the Celtics, but he's aware. He sees they'll only have Robert Williams. They're only allowed to have OK Big. They'll never address this issue. Bud Bryan says they could use some better role players. Yeah, look, I think, it's been a problem for them, and I think with each passing year, their bench seems to get worse.
They got Fournier, and they're like, this is it. This is our guy.
It's wild, though, because do you remember when they made the conference finals without Kyrie and Hayward?
Yeah.
They came back the next year, and obviously the idea was these guys are healthy. The other guys have stepped up. We're going to have like a super team, and that team was like 11 deep.
Yeah.
And you look at them now, and it's like, fuck, they got like one good bench player. It's not ideal.
Can we talk about Luka?
What I mean, like, talk about or just fall in love with again. Dude. Like he's a freak. He's so awesome to watch.
I love that like he talks all this shit too. Like it's tremendous that he's just not like, oh yeah, quiet dude, just kind of like getting it done. Like him just be like, nah, this dude can't guard me. Nah, this dude's too small. Like it's so good. I love when these players just talk shit like that. And Luka being a dude who does that, because you wouldn't think, maybe because he's white, but like you wouldn't think he's gonna do that. Oh my God, Steven Larson rating with a party of 55. They're probably coming in here expecting some wrestling talk, because I assume Steven Larson, we're talking wrestling, and here we are just talking about Luka Doncic on this thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joseph.
No, I was going to talk about the NBA. I thought you were going to do the thing where you're like, this is what we do.
Yeah,
you're right.
I was. All right, so if you're new to the channel here at Fightful Gaming, first we appreciate y'all, Steven Larson. Hope y'all had a good show. We do a lot of bullshit on this show. Again, right now we're just kind of on this channel. Right now we're just talking basketball. We'll talk some wrestling as well. We kind of just let the chat steer us, but we're hoop heads. I don't know what we do on that. We do watch-alongs on this show. Like Tuesdays we'll watch... I watched some bad wrestling. We watched In Your House, the first one, this past week. Sometimes we'll watch like old MMA fights, stuff like that. We watch movies on this show, on this channel. Do some watch-alongs. We play a game called Total Extreme Wrestling, where we book BPW. It's a terrible federation, but it rules at the same time. Sometimes play video games as well. We do a lot of fun stuff, right? We do a lot of fun stuff. So.
It's only when you lay it all out like that I realise how daunting that whole thing is. There's like probably like 50, 60 people here that are just going, what are they talking about? Why do they do all these things on the same channel? I don't know.
We kind of got like free reign, and it's kind of cool. Yeah, look, this is what we're doing right now. We're worshiping at the altar of Luka Doncic. Dude, he is so good. And we were just talking about how I love that he just like talks shit, and he's like, yeah, where's Patrick Beverley? Too small. Too fucking... He needs to do the rock the baby on him at some point.
When he got Morris on that dunk,
oh yeah. He's like, can't guard me.
I've never felt such joy for another team.
Yeah, can't guard me. Oh, dude, it's so... Luka rules so much.
Did you see that thing about like the Clippers haven't won a playoff game since Marcus Morris was a dick to Paul Millsap?
Yeah.
They've got like this... Oh, so the thing is on this show I regularly talk about how like I think the Clippers, but they're so damn unlikable.
Dude, you've seen that photo after Kawhi dunked on Kleber of like George, Kawhi, and I think it's Morris like flexing and everything, and it's just like, how'd that game end? Like,
bro, Morris is so like I think it was the game one. He's a very good free throw shooter, right? Just good shooter in general.
Yeah.
Great 3-point shooter, and it's like late in the game and he missed both free throws. Like, that's so him, like he's a big tough guy and he talks shit, but like when push comes to shove, do you actually trust him to make the shot when he needs to? No. I certainly don't, let me tell you.
No, like Kawhi was making a face. All right, he was making a face. The other two were definitely flexing. Whatever, fuck two of them.
Just Kawhi's face.
Yeah, Kawhi's face was flexing.
No one dislikes Kawhi, right?
Nah,
he's
not
fine.
really.
He's Tom.
Yeah.
But yeah, Paul George, you have a more personal gripe with. I feel like I have one with Marcus Morris that I'm regularly going to. But like, he just sucks, man. Like, what's the?
I mean, I think Patrick Beverley. I love that Patrick Beverley is just getting abused this series. Absolutely love it. Abused. He is. Luka is legit looking at the court, and he's like, "All right, who? Oh yeah, there's Patrick Beverley. Come on, bring that switch over here. Bring him over to me. Let's do this."
See, it's weird. Almanac mentions like the Morris brothers, but like I have much less just complete hatred for Markieff Morris, and I don't know why.
Markieff, I don't even know what team he plays for anymore. Is he on the Lakers? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting on the floor though.
Yeah, I was about to say that's why.
He's another one though. It's the same thing where do you remember what was it? Was it a finals game where LeBron like got a rebound? No, LeBron shot the free or something happened, and Marquise Morris got the rebound, just threw it out of, just immediately panicked, like tremendous.
Dude,
Really...
Markieff signed with OKC. This is the Melo season, and this is like our biggest free agent signing ever because we don't actually get free agents. And he came in and like he wanted to be Markieff Morris, and he wasn't. And it's like, and then he complained about like his role and stuff.
Always what you need,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. What a disaster season that was.
So I do look. I'm all for NBA talk, but I do want to mention a few people mentioned this in the YouTube chat. So I think it's worth discussing. The Tom Phillips, huh?
Yeah.
So I have to say, and I want to make clear this is not any kind of spite or nastiness. So obviously I wish him well. I'm a little bit startled to see how much people love Tom's work today. I have to admit, he never... and I think when I actually kind of thought about it, I was like, I think I missed a lot of his stuff on TV, because that was when I wasn't really paying attention. Fine announcer. He never, like, popped for me or stood out.
Yeah.
Any faults? Like, I've seen people really upset about it, and that's fine. Like, I've done it for people that no one gives a shit about. Like, I get it. But he did catch you off guard, I gotta be honest.
It seemed like he should have been the guy who was on Raw. Like, I don't know, but I'm kind of with you in that, like, he was just there. All these WWE guys feel just so interchangeable to me, and like that's just kind of a knock on the system at this point. It's just like I know Cole, I know Graves, and the rest of them. Where was Tom Phillips before? Was he on Raw? Was he on SmackDown? Like, I just don't really remember.
He had a long run on SmackDown, which I don't think I saw much of, but people seem to really remember fondly. Where I believe it was him, Saxton, and Graves as a team. I think I could be wrong on that, but yeah, I agree. He never look for whatever you like Corey Graves or not. You always know when he's on the show, don't you? You know Corey's there. I just never Tom never stood out to me. It's interesting. I was surprised.
I see, and I've gotten very good of just like tuning out WWE announcers, really announcers in general. Like, I've just gotten very good at tuning them all out. So yeah, Phillips just like he never popped or anything for me, but it sucks they lost his job, because I do think he should have been in that Raw spot, because look, Adnan Virk, that guy, that was a disaster. Like, waiting to happen. You could tell the first week it was like, oh man. And like, they threw this guy in there with no experience in this position. Like, he wasn't good, but like, I don't even fully put that on him. It's just like, you're just going to put this guy in there with no experience. I'm worried the same thing's going to happen to Jimmy Smith. And like, I think Jimmy Smith is good in like the MMA stuff. Like, he's good at like breaking down techniques and all of this stuff. Like, he's doing play-by-play. Like, he's not an analyst. He's doing play-by-play for Raw. I just see.
I know. So they announced it that way, right? Yeah. They actually said, like, but I just can't. I feel like Sexton's going to take that.
I hope so.
Because Sexton has done it before. I remember on NXT way back when he would do play, and it's like, dude, you're so right. Jimmy Smith was a color guy in MMA, and that's his shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, he was really good. He's actually, I think, one of the best MMA announcers ever. I genuinely believe that. I think he's an amazing color guy in MMA. Smart guy. I know people found that tweet, but like, come on, bro. I'm not swaying. Like, good luck to Jimmy Smith. I'm rooting for him. You know what? Fun fact, Jeremy Lambert. Jimmy Smith would regularly share my MMA articles when I was a young lad. When I was a young man trying to make my way in this game, the Jimmy Smith regularly shared my articles. I always appreciate that. Very good analyst. I have no idea if he likes wrestling. And nor does he.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he knows as well. So I got sent this. It's about to be up on the site, so I got to work on this right fast, Joseph.
Go ahead. You're fine.
They made a bunch of cutbacks, like employees and everything. Just looking at it. So WWE Studios got hit.
Yeah.
It seems pretty hard. And they let go of Sue Levinson, which I think that's a name most people know, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I know it because I've done a lot of work on the WWE Studios stuff. That seems to be the biggest one. There's obviously a bunch of other names, but Sue Levinson being let go seems like kind of a big deal. She seemed like she did some good things with all of that.
It's really interesting, Jeremy. You feel free to do that story, but the talk of a sale has been a thing for years now.
Yeah.
If not that, it at least feels like the influence of someone who's new there, without naming names, it really feels apparent that stuff's changing.
Yeah.
And that's not to say better or worse. You know, I frankly I don't know enough about what they do in them areas of the company. I just for the longest time they've been very excessive with the amount of people they hire to do stuff. And there's not, I'm glad people got paid, but like it feels like that's sure changing, huh? Like they're trying to get that wage, wage bill down.
So here's the thing about some of this stuff, and this is one thing that again I would never tweet because it would come off wrong and insensitive, and I'm setting this up very well, I'm sure. I don't want anybody to lose their job. Obviously, it's horrible unless it's a head coach of a team I like, and I want my team to be better than I want to lose their job. I don't think it's like a terrible thing to like merge some of these divisions, because how often do we hear about like, oh yeah, the WWE, like the website team has no idea what the social media team is doing, and they have no idea what this other team. Like I don't think it's a bad idea to like group some of this stuff so you don't have these. Like a perfect example was the WrestleMania stuff, and Billy Kay and Carmelo supposed to be like a mystery team. They weren't announced, but then WWE.com is just like, oh, we got the graphic already, and we've already got the post set up. All right, well, here we go. It's like, that wasn't announced. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing to kind of have more unity on that. Will that actually happen? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't actually lead to these changes, but I don't think this is like the worst thing in the world, outside of obviously people losing their jobs.
It's been very apparent, even on the wrestling side, where obviously everyone knows they've signed so much talent, and it's led to guys lose. We understand what's happened there.
Yeah.
But when you listen to Chris Hero talk about the coaching at the PC, it really paints a picture, Jeremy, of just how excessive they are with like, you just don't need 15 coaches. You know, and again, I'm really happy for people to get those jobs because a lot of them work really hard and never got a chance on TV, frankly, to make the money they should have. So I'm glad they land there and they get to get a position that's full-time. It's great. But Chris Hero talks about it, and he's like, you got to basically pick a coach to listen to, because otherwise you're going to get told 10 different things every week.
Yeah.
And like, I think if that's what they're doing with a performance center, like, imagine what they're like on production and, you know, online and all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of them things. I try not to comment on it much because I agree with you. I don't want to come across insensitive, but it's also like it's hard to have a really hot take on like how disgusting and vile it is, because it's just, that's what these businesses are. Like, am I supposed to be surprised that they fired people? Like, come on. This is how it works, man. It is what it is. Like, I'm not surprised. It's very much in line with everything I know about big corporations, especially that one that has given me 40 years of evidence they act that way. Like, it's cool. I get it. What have we got here in the chat, folks? Jeremy's got actual work to do, so feel free to throw stuff my way. I'll try my best to answer it. How do you feel about Dynamite being on Fridays until the end of the playoffs? I mean, it kind of sucks. It messes my week up, but like, Friday night's actually a better night for me to watch wrestling because there's nothing going on. So, you know, I'm not a party animal.
You don't
so
watch SmackDown at all, though.
I don't like SmackDown. I don't watch it. I don't know if it's bad. I just don't like their presentation. In the Thunderdome, I find it to be just grating. When it gets out of there, I've got more of a chance. People think like it's really... It frustrates me, Jerry, because people think it's like I'm being a dick, and it's like, I'm actually just trying to tell you that I don't want to watch the TV. Like, leave me alone, you know?
You excited for crowds coming back in a month, Joseph?
Honestly, I would love to give you like a smart answer of it seems dumb, but like, yes, I'm very much excited, Jeremy. Like, I need that energy, because with WWE TV especially, it's so controlled and like pristine. It's like, I just need that, the idea that the crowd can just go wild. I need it.
I'm excited. I mean, I'm going to the second SmackDown show, so it would be the fourth show, because there's SmackDown, Money in the Bank, Raw. So it'd be the fourth show back with live crowds. So I'm interested and excited to see those first three shows and how they go and how crowds react and everything, and then I'm excited to be there for the fourth show and kind of just feeling some energy to these shows again. And like, I generally enjoy SmackDown, mainly I guess because I have to watch it every week, and so I try to enjoy it. But like, there's some good stuff. Roman's great, you know. Roman's great.
He's incredible. Yeah, we love Roman.
Yeah, Sam. I would imagine I'm not gonna review things that night. Maybe I'll call in on my phone and jump on there as driving back from the show. But no, I won't be on the SmackDown podcast that night since I'll be at the show.
You can do the Wade Keller bit and be like, the guys you like, super over in the building. The guys you don't like, man, well, they not. To Chalk's point here, we're talking about the coaches. Chris Hero was talking about how some guys are like trained to just like do their stuff but look at cameras. But then there's also like Terry Taylor's like a main roster style coach. It's very confusing. It sounds that way anyway. United lost the Europa final, Joe. I'm ready for Ollie and De Gea to go. Oh my, Ollie at the wheel, no more. It's actually interesting, J Ben. It reminds me of the Tottenham situation with Potter. It's like you need a trophy. I think he's done a good job. I think give it time. I think the summer's a big one for you guys. Sign some big players. I think Kane is one that you're going to be after. Sancho, I think you're going to get. I think all will be well in Manchester. The problem is, are you going to beat Man City? I mean, I don't think anyone is, frankly. That is what it is. How long until we can go to NXT UK? When they book Mark Henry versus Walter, I'll go.
You don't like Walter, though.
That's why I want to go. I want to see Mark Henry beat him up, break his neck, beat him up. Is that how it goes? Beat him up, break his neck? That's the deal, right?
Yeah.
I hope no one said that as me just saying I actually want Walter to have his neck broke by Mark Henry. It's his theme song, guys. Good lord. Everyone seems to think Sancho's happening, J-Ben, so there's that.
What Sancho is.
Nor do I, to be honest. I just pretend. Bill's Mafia said, this is like Robert and Jack talking baseball for me. That's very fair.
At least Robert and Jack know baseball. I mean, unless you're talking about the basketball stuff. But like, the soccer stuff, I don't know that.
This is fair. I'm really just talking to the chat at that point. Manchester is blue. It is indeed now. Sam says, fuck the Leafs. All that means.
It's hockey.
Good stuff. The soccer chat is not over. I say soccer because it's so much easier doing that than saying football. And by football, I mean our football, because I know everyone gets confused. So I just say soccer. I'm an adult. I don't get upset about using that word. I just say it and move on. What else have we got here? Oh my God, JJ's team, Manchester United. I mean, it depends how you're looking at it, JJ. I mean, Man City have been pretty excellent. The last decade, they've been incredibly dominant. It's difficult. But Brian says, did you guys already give your take on the 2011 Bulls beating Trae Young?
Taj, it's good to see Taj doing well.
Yeah, man. That's exactly what I first thought of Taj. That's what I was going to say.
I mean, Taj, that's who it is, right? Taj and Rose and Tibbs.
But like your mind goes to Tibbs and Rose being met together. Like I forget Taj. I'm
sorry.
But
Rose has done well all season. Tibbs is, he's the coach and stuff. Taj actually stood out last night and played very well.
That's good.
And he's an OKC legend. So
it's good to have those games at the Garden are fun, man. It's at least electric, You want to amend your NBA Finals pick now that the Clippers are what they are? Yes, I would like to do that. I still don't know who's going to come out of the West, man. It's just wide open. I don't know why I let them convince me. I am Crackerjack. In fairness, when I said it, I was like, but what are you going to do? No one comes here for good opinions or analysis. They just listen to us talk. Knicks are good again, baby. Indeed. It's the Lakers.
Do you think the Knicks win that series?
Yeah, I've always thought they will. They're a very tough defensive team. I think that alone just fundamentally will get them through. I've always thought that. I was actually surprised they lost the first game. I mean, I could be wrong. The Hawks have never impressed me particularly, so I just kind of thought, that's a good series for the Knicks. But the Knicks were the 4 seed. That's a tremendous series for them, right? The Hawks, like a team that also is like completely inexperienced in that setting. It's good. So, yeah, the Knicks aren't even inexperienced. They're just, it's been a while for that franchise. The group of players are pretty, it's the 2011 Bulls, as he said. I had a topic, huh? We did Tom, bless him. We wish Tom well. That was controversial. That ran off many of our new viewers from the Stephen the Larson deal. Oh, man, did you see my Dustin Rhodes talk today, Jeremy?
I did. I want to talk about this.
How good is that shit, bro? Like, this actually be serious for a minute. Like, I don't really put myself over that often. How much better would the NWA be if I actually was the head booker? Like, I mean, how much better would it be? Infinitely, right?
I mean, it can't be much worse, you know.
Fair. Yeah, spitting on Trae Young by Ryan is like the pandemic part is like the icing, but it's just so scummy anyway. Like, it's brutal. Bro, I don't know who played. I have no idea who plays for Brentford or Swansea, JB. I'm sorry, you're probably much more clued in than I am. So I don't know. Champions League final, I ain't seen Chelsea beat them 4 times in a row, whatever it be. I'll take Man City. Partly because I probably want them to win. NWA would be booked better if it was booked by a former WWE Tag Champ Nicholas Fair. Look, man, I'll watch Trevor Murdoch and Nick Aldis. The problem is, it seems very obvious to me that like they don't really have a guy they're comfortable beating Aldis with. And Aldis is the guy in their promotion that has all the leverage because he's the only guy that like they feel like they owe him because he's stuck around and stuff. It's just so it's a proper like uncomfortable position. It feels like to me. Tope Suicida says King and Mox win off the Bucks, hold titles for a short reign, and are beaten by FTR. Then FTR feud with Cody and Dustin. Bro, that feud is like that's just too much for me. Like FTR versus King and Mox, that's like I don't even want to say what I would compare that to. That's ridiculous. It's just too much for my heart to take. Wonderful. Apparently both men in NWA's title match are produced for the company. Yeah, well I don't think Trevor's like politic and he's just an old brother. Homicide's a producer too, but he's not allowed to wrestle because they have high standards like Tyrus.
Jesus, that. Did you watch the season finale, Joseph?
No, of course I didn't.
Fair.
Bob O'Neill's got an exclusive announcement. He says that during next month's Euros, the corner 3 becomes Robert O'Neill's corner kick, as he will discuss soccer weekly with his hat on. Here we go. Look, there's so much lower mid-A dub talent that would rule in the NWA setting. Dustin and the Butcher. Like, come on, bro. Like, there's so many things you can do to be creative with. Because it's studio wrestling. You can really protect guys in that setting. Dax. Yeah. And it's like, I know what it would be. It would be like, what will happen is they'll do something like this. If they did something like this, they won't, because we know why. But if they did, there would be takes about like, well, you're killing the NWA brand by having Dustin Rhodes as world champion. It's like, bro, the NWA brand. Like, come on, man. You gotta be like, I am Crackerjack's right. He says, I feel bad for dunking NWA because I love the atmosphere of studio wrestling. Me, man, same. Like, I'm for it, but you gotta be realistic about where you are in the wrestling landscape. Right now, you're so far off the map. Like, I love what they can be, but they've got to be creative in terms of talent, and they've got to try and latch onto stories that are compelling. It can't just be like a place where you sign people that you work with in TNA 2014. It can't be, because the audience for that is like, you know, like you're putting Velvet on commentary and stuff just because like that's someone you know. It's tough, man. I don't know. Xavier feuding with RK Bro kind of gives away the Kofi Drew result. Yeah, it's a good point. I haven't really thought back because I just, why would I?
You just assume Drew's going to win.
Yeah, they get a couple of weeks of TV. I think that's all they're trying to do, right? Just get a couple of weeks of TV out of it and move on. Isn't the real problem there are no names available outside of TNA and 2 as well? I think... So, I'll say this for example, okay? Lee Moriarty. Everyone thinks he's great, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he showed up in the Power Studio, he's not famous at all. There would be more buzz. And the audience that may watch that show would be a little bit more intrigued than if you sign... I don't want to be rude to anyone, but you know what I'm saying. There's a lot of younger guys there, and more than that, and to the point that was followed up on, but the same, I'm Crackjacks also said, I feel like RH and NWA sent up some talent that would help. Right, there's so much stuff you can do, like, and just be creative with sharing talent. Like, do you really think if you go to Tony Khan and you say this, like, take any upper mid-carder on their roster that's not a top guy and isn't going to win the title anytime soon, and be like, yeah, so our plan is he's going to come in and work one tape in a month and be pushed like a star. Do you really think Tony Khan's gonna be like, nah, I'm out? Like, but you have to be willing to play ball because you got stuff to gain here. Dustin Rhodes going to the Power Studio and cutting magnetic studio promos about winning the big one, winning the belt that his father held in iconic fashion over 3 decades ago. Is this the kind of thing that's going to get 1 million subscribers to Fight TV? No. Is it going to get some talk? Is it going to get people's emotions going? Yeah. You know, that's good stuff. And what's Tony Khan going to say? No, I don't want Dustin to win the NWA title. It's awesome stuff for everyone involved.
You don't think Aldis wants to drop the title to Rhodes just so he can beat him?
Well, this is the thing is, frankly, I think Aldis deserves respect. I know we have a lot of fun with it, but I think he deserves respect for, like, he's done his own thing and he's stuck to his guns, and I respect it. But it's time, isn't it? You know.
Well, this is what I'm saying.
If I got the book, my first step would be Nick. God bless.
This is what I'm saying. He probably wants to drop the title to Dustin, and so he can beat him.
No, I get it, but like when I talk about Dustin, I'm imagining a world where he gets that belt and you move on from Aldis completely, and you part ways. Because I know that's not going to happen because I know he's much deeper. But to me, you get to a point where the brand becomes toxic, and it isn't Nick's fault, but he's the face of the brand that we're talking about. You know,
right.
The one that everyone's laughing about through no fault of his own. To be quite honest with you, Jeremy, there's issues with Aldis, but he isn't the problem, right? Like they got a lot bigger problems than Nick Aldis, but unfortunately, he's the face of that era. And it's gone now. When the pandemic hit and COVID closed power down, that era had closed, and trying to recapture it is not going to happen. What have we got here? Kingston was so made for that power setting. His promo with Pope was all time, and still that. Yeah, I mean, so here's another guy, right? I love Eddie Kingston. I don't think he's ever going to win the AEW heavyweight title. I love him.
We tried, Joseph.
We did, but look, he's nearly 40, and they've got so many great guys that deserve that belt and need to be built around. I don't think he needs to be the NWA World Champion. Jeremy Lambert. If I went to our friend TK, who follows you on Twitter, and I said, Eddie Kingston has been in this business for 2 decades. We would like to also pay Ed Kingston to come and work one taping of Power a month, and we're going to put the belt on him. We're going to make him the NWA World Champ. We're not going to beat him. We're going to treat him like a star. He can come out and dynamite with our belt. Like, do you really think Tony would be like, nah, man, I don't want Eddie to make more money or be the NWA champ? Like, be creative. Have fun with it. You do one taping every 6 weeks. Like, you don't need to have, like, a full-time crew. You're not running shows or anything. You know? Like, and it's maybe I'm being naive, Jeremy, but I just do not see a world in which Tony Khan is like, absolutely not to these guys. Older guys that you're basically saying we'll pay them money too, and like we're going to feature them prominently, and they can still be on all of your shows. I just feel like this is, you know. And here's the first thing you do though. You say, hey, guess what, Tony? Thunder Rosa, we've been keeping her under contract hostage for the last 6 months. We're going to obviously let her go and let you sign her. Obviously, because that's the right thing to do by the talent. Don't treat talent like shit when you're a promotion of that level, because no one else wants to sign for you. Obviously. I'm angry about this now. Stuff like that really frustrates me because Thunder Rosa is a success story for you. Because you give her the exposure she needed to become a bigger deal, so then she become a huge deal, which is what she's going to be, folks. She's going to be big time, transformative. You should be proud of that and say, go fly. You should not be holding on. There's no need for it. There's absolutely no reason for that. And all it does is it tells every wrestler out there that's waiting for a contract, hold off on NWA. There's better options out there. Because that's how they treat Thunder Rosa. Simple. And here's what annoys me too, Jeremy, okay? We all love Serena Deeb, great NWA champ. Why are they not like, hey, you can put the belt on Ty Conti, or when she was healthy, Anna Jay. We'll bring her to NWA. She gets another booking. She gets more experience, more reps. Serena Deeb doesn't need the reps. Put the belt on Penelope, Red Velvet. Have them come and work the NWA shows. God damn it.
All right. I finished this story. What are we talking about?
Jeremy. I got really carried. To basically, grand scheme of things, I cannot believe the lack of creativity with what is allegedly a relationship with NWA. I cannot with AEW. I cannot believe that Thunder Rosa has not been let go of her contract. And my final point, let me reiterate, I love Serena Deeb. Why have you not got the belt on a woman that needs reps and Tony will let work your NWA shows? Like, I feel like if you said to Tony Khan, hey, we're going to feature Penelope Ford as like a centre piece female, she's going to have the belt and work more matches, and we'll also pay her, I feel like he'd be like, okay, cool. The scheduling makes this easy, Jeremy. They don't... You can help me in this. I think they run one taping every 6 weeks.
Yeah. I don't think they've taped... Like, they taped all their shit at that one point. Like...
AEW's about to sign more guys that are ready to go. This is your chance to understand your position in the industry. You're not the National Wrestling Alliance of 1985. You need to go to Tony Khan and say, we will be a relative, basically a developmental that gets everyone better at promos because we're studio wrestling, everyone can cut promos, good stuff. All we want is like, give us access to an upper mid-card guy. Because then you don't have to stop using them, but a Dustin Rhodes is never going to be AEW World Champ. We can tell that story. That's fucking awesome, right? That's good shit. But their mindset is, Jeremy, yeah, but then if we make him our NWA champ and he loses to Nick Camarota on TV, he's on TV though. You're on Fight TV in front of 2,000 people. Like, just frustrates me, man, because it's like it shouldn't be as dead as it is, but they're so arrogant and just ignorant as to where they stand. They actually think they have some like leverage in this thing.
They do.
You have none.
No,
you have none.
There's absolutely none. Like, they're the worst. Like, they're at the bottom, right? Like, it's AEW, WWE. This is not in order. Those two, Impact, ROH. Like, MLW's above them, right?
GCW's.
Yeah, GCW gets more buzz than NWA.
It's barely, let's be honest, it's barely a promotion. It's a promotion that exclusively runs TV and doesn't have a TV deal.
They're on Fight. They're on Fight.tv. It says TV in the name.
And I'm like, okay, I'm looking at AEW's roster, and I'm seeing people like Top Flight. I know that one of those gentlemen's down. Great young team. They're like 21, 22, right? I'm looking at them. I'm saying they could be your babyface tag champs in NWA for 6 months and come out of it better workers for it. Guess what else they get to do, Jeremy? Cut promos in the studio. Maybe I'm being too generous to TK, but I certainly feel like he would not be upset about his talent getting more reps and getting wins on another platform. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
It's, I don't know what NWA is thinking, honestly. Like, and maybe that's the problem, is they probably don't know what they're thinking either. But I think you're right in that, like, they think that it's still the NWA of old, 10 pounds of gold, the title that Race, Funk, Flair, Briscoe, Rhodes all held.
Right. I think people in chat film doing a bit here, because I don't watch product. I do not care, but it just frustrates me because I think there's a place for that genre of wrestling, you know. And it's like, man, there's so many different ways you could cut this. But instead, you're so desperate to do this studio TV, and you haven't got television, but you just want, you know, like why don't you sign up to deal with Fight TV where you do like an event a month that's actually like looks kind of good on paper, you know? I don't know. What if we just do studio TV instead forever, even though we haven't got TV?
Dan says TK probably won't be upset that I don't think Corgan likes this image of being a lesser promotion.
That's my perception too, and that's why it's done.
Yeah, like the women's title thing, we didn't really touch on it on the show because I didn't think there was too much to talk about. But like Deeb and Riho, I don't think Deeb's gonna lose that title. Like, I like Riho, I think she'd be like good. I just don't see them. Like, I just don't think that they're gonna take the title off of Deeb. And like AEW, like whatever, they'll have Riho lose. They're fine with it. I just don't see them doing that. I'm with you. Deeb is an AEW talent though. Like, she's signed to AEW, which is, it's so weird. So if they're willing to do that for the women's title, like, why wouldn't they do that for?
And that's why Dan's correct. Look, again, folks, I could be wrong. it seems very likely to me that what I said earlier, what Jeremy said earlier, and what Dan just said in the chat is correct, which is that in their mind, well, God forbid we hand over the £10 of gold and they lose on TV on Dynamite. And frankly, to me, that is just such an outdated way of looking at it. I'm looking at the AEW Women's roster right now, okay? Someone like an Abaddon, she has legitimately had like 50 matches, I think.
Yeah.
Do you think TK will be like, nah, man, I'm not going to get booked by the NWA? You're not going to
NWA doesn't have any women to like let them get reps though. Like that's kind of an issue too.
Genuinely,
they can just get reps on Dark.
But this is the thing: this is my take on it, okay? And this, you're right, but like, take Penelope Ford, who I think we both think can be something,
yeah,
but hasn't really got rolling. Do you not think it would do more for her as a performer if once a month she went into that studio and cut promos and was like a top female on that roster?
Oh,
sure. It gets you used to being a star on the show, you know?
Yeah.
Dark is cool and all, but you're doing 3-minute squash match. It just is what it is. And the other thing that's important is we don't know how Dark's going to work, but if they are going to do these live again, they're obviously not going to get as many squash matches in.
Yeah.
So, like, you need more. Like, I'm looking at this roster, and I'm seeing Red Velvet, who I think is tremendous. Dude, she's younger. She'd be a better fit. Like, Serena's awesome, but she doesn't need to. And like, I think she's just going to drop it to Camille, because then you can just have, when champs are in-house. It's like, great job. Awesome.
I'm pretty sure Camille is winning the title. I don't know what they're going to end up. Dude, their pay-per-views next weekend. They have no television show between now and then. They have one match announced. I know some of the direction. Like, it looks like they're doing Tyrus and the Pope because, sure. I have no idea what else they're doing on that show. Like, the tag team champions are partners who don't get along. They did the gimmick this week. It was number one contenders match. If Thunder Rosa loses, she has to stay in NWA and with Camille, and like they just did a 20-minute draw and didn't explain what actually happens. I don't know if Camille gets the title shot because she's the technical number one contender because she beat Thunder Rosa at the last pay-per-view. So I don't know if it's just Camille still getting the title shot. I don't know if it's a triple threat match at the pay-per-view. I don't know what the women's title match is at the pay-per-view. I would imagine whatever it is, Camille's winning that title at the pay-per-view. So I assume that's where they're going with that. Again, tag team titles, I don't know. Chris Adonis just gave up whatever title he was holding because he wanted to be in the Battle Royal. You're just like, sure. So now they have a vacant title, and I don't know like what they're gonna do with that. Like, they have one match announced for this pay-per-view. It's next week. They have no television between now and then.
I know I'm just hitting this same note over and over again, but Big Swole, another one.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way Swole doesn't get better at cutting those promos at the podium and just, like, trying to be a star on the show rather than just be a piece of the puzzle. Someone in the chat, I just saw it. Let me find it. Who was it? Greg said about tag teams, too. Like, Bear Country, you know, Butcher and Blade, Top Flight, the Seidel brothers. Brother. These are your number one team in the NWA. Like, mate, again, folks, I'm not in the business. Maybe I'm misreading TK, and he would be like, no way you can take one booking for Bear Country. But I get the sense that he would be fine with that. What have we got? Yeah, I saw that Adonis thing in your notes, Jeremy. It's very fun.
Just like, yeah, give up the title. Yeah, I know the story, Dan, is that, like, I understand the story they're trying to tell. I just don't understand. I think it's a dumb story, and I don't know what they're doing now with the national title. Because Adonis fuck did he beat? I don't even remember. He beat somebody. He beat Murdoch. He beat Murdoch to win the title at the pay-per-view. And he's just like, oh, let me give up this belt so I can, try to eliminate Murdoch. But then I didn't eliminate Murdoch, so now he's just not the champion. Cryomancer says it's worse than Raw. I've said this, that like Raw is probably the worst television show because it's 3 hours, and at least NWA is like 40 minutes. But that's a very long 40 minutes. Like a very long 40 minutes. It's a terrible show.
It's a shame. It is a real shame, and I hope people realise that I'm actually being sincere with my suggestions. I think there's a lot of things you can do. I think there's a lot of ways you can be creative with talent, and if you're not running a full-time schedule, you can do a lot of different weird, like wacky things. I really love seeing, and this is kind of one of the weird things that will change when we go back to arenas. Impact have really benefited from having empty tapings because there's a sense that anything can happen now on that weird show. Like we've got Kojima next week, and it's like, sure, you can do some
Kojima
weird shit.
tonight. Pretty sure it's tonight.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a sense that you can really do some different stuff when you haven't got to worry about a full-time schedule, and yet you're circling the drain with Tyrus, and even guys I like Trevor and the Pope. I think they're talented guys, and I think they should be on the show. When you're making them top 5 guys, you need to be more creative with your talent scouting. You've got to be, and that's what pops me most, Jeremy. Is it's like, oh man, like we can't have mid-carders from AEW be top guys here, and it's like, Trevor Murdoch's one of your top guys.
It's very much the same. We talked about Ethan Page, on doing like Impact, and it's like, yeah, on Impact seemed like he was fine and whatever, and then he comes to AEW, he feels much more important. And it's like, if you're NWA, all these AEW guys feel very important. They come to your show, they'd feel more important than the guys you have now. You're right. Like Dustin Rhodes comes in there, and he's the biggest star on the show. Even if
imagine his promos, man. Yeah. Seriously, how good would he be on that damn show? It'd be incredible.
He's by far the biggest star. Like that's the thing. Like it's not even close, is it?
And the thing is, so when you were doing your work, we were talking about Kingston, the chap, and I was saying, like, I think he's one you could swing a similar thing for. But with Dustin, it's like you pitch this to TK, like the guy's like 51. And like has a clear ceiling in AEW because he should, right? You've got all these great wrestlers.
Yeah.
We have no great wrestlers. He could actually win the big one, which I think we all agree Dustin should. One of the all-time great TV guys, a tremendous wrestler. And the story of him trying to like tick that box and win that title, right? His younger brother did it. His dad obviously famously did it. He went a different route, and I think he's proud of that, but it still would be awesome. Like Bud Ryan, by the way, I was going to bring this up. He's spot on. He says Private Party went to Impact and felt like superstars. Like that's a great example, right? Remember that when they first came on, it was like, holy shit, these guys were just their entrance, their presentation was such a level above. It would be the same deal.
Yeah, back.
I want to see the spreadsheet. I love this comment. I want to see the spreadsheet that shows the NWA loyalists that would hate AEW as the show. Exactly, and like.
Dude, there NWA loyalists,
and that's the thing, Jerry. Is it's like there will definitely be a podcast that's called like Cornette's Cock that just loses their mind and goes, Dustin, he lost to Anthony Ogogo, and it's like, if that's the audience you're trying to get $5 off, then God bless you. But frankly, that is not a sustainable thing, because I can tell you now, Jeremy, I have watched one episode of Power this season, and it was the one that you told me was the worst thing you'd ever seen. So I said, okay, I'll watch that. If Dustin Rhodes showed up at this pay-per-view and was like, I want the NWA title, guess who's watching Power? This dipshit. And I think there's other people that would do the same thing. Bill Matthews is Colt Cabana. It's another guy. And that's the beauty of AEW, is they're not WWE where they shut guys off completely. I think this stuff's feasible. So, we're not going to see, because we know what's going to happen. It's going to be the same stagnant promotion until the end. But I just wish, man, the NWA was never a promotion. It was a what's the word? It was like a sanctioning body, basically. Doesn't have to be any different now, my friend. You don't need full-time wrestlers. You just need good talent that people want to see. And studio wrestling's great, but if you haven't got TV, you probably better run events too. Which is the other thing. Here you go. That's enough on the NWA. Sorry, folks. Yeah, those sixes are good, though, let me tell you. JD Drake. How did they never sign JD Drake?
Because they're stupid.
Because they were too busy watching 2014 Impact.
They're
That's what I'm saying,
stupid.
Man. It's frustrating, bro.
Why do we spend so much time on NWA Power? I gotta watch this show weekly.
Do you know the honest answer to that, Jeremy? Because we're simply built different. Simple as that. Like, no, this week is pay-per-view week, and everyone's talking AEW and all this great stuff. And like, here I am on Twitter being like, Dustin Rhodes is NWA champ. Let's go. And it's is what it is. This is how my brain works. I'm gracious. I want to see you book NWA. So do I. They should actually let me do it. We can't be any worse. Let's do it. Imagine, bro. Imagine the NWA puts out a press release. Fightful's Joe Hulbert is now the head booker. What happens to the distraction?
Fight TV actually follows you. You get codes. You finally get
Imagine.
codes, Joseph.
Imagine, bro. It'd be incredible. JD Drake is great. I love him.
I think our
okay,
viewership actually takes a hit, unfortunately.
What's interesting is it went up when we talk about the NWA.
No, I'm saying
Which
like
really
our
stopped.
distraction
Oh, yeah.
show
Oh.
viewership.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Toxic brand, pal. Joe puts Jeremy over eldest, folds company. Yeah, fair. Imagine that. Imagine you came in, brought you in as a worker.
I'd be the best worker there. Let me hit the psychosis leg drop on these guys.
That'd be your Titantron thing. Just got the leg drops. Really. Put you and Homicide together as my dream team. That'd be great
man,
stuff.
we'd kill it. I can cut promos better than half these dudes.
You would probably be Homicide's mouthpiece.
Oh, that'd be tremendous.
He would just have to be like Pesci, and you'd be like, yeah. I love everything. Homicide just there refuses to go a day without talking
Dude,
about Joe Pesci.
we give him some great buzz, right? Like people watch our show. I bet more people watch our show than watch NWA Power. 100%. Like we'd give them some actual buzz.
That's so tough, bro. Like,
I'm gonna tweet them. I'm gonna tweet the
You're gonna tweet
NWA
what?
account. I'm gonna tweet Billy. I'd tweet all this, but I feel like he's got me blocked or something. I'm gonna tweet NWA. What's Billy's Twitter? I think it's just like Billy. It's just weird.
Shit is it's at Billy, yeah.
I think he's on private though, isn't he?
No, I tweeted him earlier. He might be actually. I don't know. I just
there it is. All right, Billy. Okay, yeah. That's kind of tremendous that he just says at Billy. Honestly, like, I'm kind of jealous.
It's a flex.
Of that. Yeah,
it's a flex for sure.
It is. All right. Okay, so dear NWA at Billy, to create buzz for your company, you should hire at Joel Hulbert as the new booker. The distraction on Fightful has thousands of viewers. I don't know if I should mention Fightful. Jimmy's gonna yell at me.
Dude, look at this here. Look at this subscribers here. We got the Power Chalk has gifted 5 tier 1 subs.
Read them out, Joseph. I'm trying to get you a job.
Okay, go ahead. Northwood 1, LMX 17, Rose Misty, Canadian Zudamon, Ginger Beard Man, all of which should thank the pal. The gentleman's name I can never say, so I just call him Chalk. Respect. You should all thank him. Very kind. Yeah, this for sure not mentioned Fightful. Oh man, I don't know how I feel about this. Bud Ryan says Joe should be Booker. He's basically British Gabe. Seems bad. I'm not sure how I feel about British Gabe. Pretty good booker, but there's a lot of asterisks that come with the booking. A lot of extra stuff on that one. Despite all my rage, I'd like to see £10 of gold on Christian Cage. Oh my. He actually won it before, right, in TNA?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, wow. Did Christian win like the actual TNA title, or was he just the NWA champ? I feel like
I think it was just NWA.
Yeah. Which is obviously cool. I mean, that's... I don't know which one matters more. I don't know, but like, it's cool. I don't know if I would treat talent better to honest Bud Run. I kind of think most wrestlers are assholes, so I'd probably just book Trevor Murdoch and Homicide in hour-long draws, and then the rest can go home.
All right, Joseph. I've tweeted an endorsement for you.
Yeah. Wow, look at this. Chalk says Christian was the NWA champ twice and dropped it twice without getting pinned. If you're gonna brother me.
I've actually deleted it because I want the Russell Westbrook shout in there. There we go.
Oh my God.
I've tweeted it again.
Okay, so the pal Dan has taken us off the NWA topic fairly. He says, "How do you expect Sting to look in his first action match? He'll look fine.
He'll do his chop. Do his
things.
Yeah, he'll hit a stinger splash, and you could slide a piece of paper under his feet when he gets up, and do a death lock, and Darby's gonna bump around. I do think Sting will take. Wait, what was the over under? 1.5?
What bumps?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1.5.
Yeah. I think I'll take the over. I think he takes 2
Bro,
bumps.
imagine walking into a bookmaker, he's like, go around the corner to the betting shop and be like, yeah, Sting this weekend, under 1.5 bumps. I'm like, what are you talking about? I've seen this to you before, I'll say it a million times, bro. Anytime someone says over under, my mind immediately goes to Reggie Miller, not understand how it works. You can't have half a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
You can't have half. I'm like, Reggie, like, that's the point. Exactly. They don't want you to have. Chocolate says, I remember the first time. I remember when Christian lost to Joe at Sacrifice. It was actually the first time he was pinned or submitted nearly 2 years into his run. That's some serious top guy shit, Christian Cage. First NWA pay-per-view, Joe, what are you naming it? Out of the Fire. Definitely. Was Sting wrestling a t-shirt? Yes. Long sleeve. The arms are not so strong anymore. He takes 3 bumps, I bet. Maybe. Depends what we're talking about for bumps. Like, I think he'll fall down a couple times, but like a full-on flat back. Don't know about all that.
Yeah, I think
He'll get chop blocked. You know, he'll get like one of those.
Yeah, I think he'll take some. He'll take 2. He's gonna take at least 2 bumps.
Okay. Because see, in fairness, you could call a chop block like half a bump, right? And Reggie would be a lot happier with the system. I'm enjoying the staying in AEW. You know, they've stopped doing the tone interview every week. They're getting the aura about. I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those deals that you don't want to like overcomplicate in the sense, just like people just like Sting, you know, and he's on the Turner networks. People like it. When it was like every week interviews, it's a little much. I do worry about what he does after the Derby stuff because it's just, I have no idea how you use him, but that's fine. They've done a decent job. Hopefully this match goes well. Sting's going for a table. Crackerjack says.
Wow.
He did take the Brian Cage powerbomb, which I actually was so convinced was not a real person. I thought it was like a fake Sting. I really thought they'd brought in fake Sting just to take the powerbomb. Make him an authority figure. Yeah, maybe. I don't think they want to do that, though. Not sure. Sting takes the ego's edge, but he actually has a repelling rope that brings him up to the rafters. Very good. By the way, I want the chat to know that our viewers have dropped immensely since we went from NWA to Sting. I want you to know that. NWA's a draw, brother.
Oh, this is why, you should be the booker, Joseph.
Do you think mid-match Sting will say, fuck it, buckle bomb? Bro, I hope not. I can't believe they actually did a buckle. Get your shit in, man, whatever it takes. Joker Sting. JJ, listen, you're my friend and all. If you start telling me that shit's good, problem. It's a problem for our friendship. You start telling me Joker Sting is actually good. Sting loves it. He thinks it's like his best work, but I agree, Dan. I don't think AEW wants authority figures. With Rampage, I think there's more of a place for like some sort of on air because it's just like it's a lot of hours, but yeah. I'd rather they not, to be honest. I like the way the show's run now. Let's book Sting as NWA champion 2021 to get the viewers back.
I mean, that's not bad, right?
No, it's fine. Dan says, what's your beef with TNA, Joe? I don't have a beef. I just think it's kind of bad. Not even now. I think it's fine now. I review it very, very positively. The Impact specials. Other than the last one, I've been very positive. And I love their last pay-per-view. But I just find the peak TNA stuff to be like... I don't really think it's real, to be honest. It's my honest take is, I know that TNA had some good matches because they had some great pro wrestlers. I kind of don't believe that there was one that's like a actual awesome peak. I just think it kind of always had some good and bad, which WCW had, there's nothing wrong with that. But WCW had that business boom that's like iconic.
Yeah.
TNA, not so much, you know? Ace and Eights wasn't quite the NWO. Close. But not quite. Yeah, I don't really watch the Impact TV bills, mate. I watch the pay-per-views and specials. TV's a little much for me. It's not my thing, but I watch when the Machine Gun Carl Anderson wrestles for my brand. Nick Aldis' last 4 title defenses. Sandow, Jason Strife, Mike Bennett, and Nobi Bryan. Hang on, is that a real name? Nobi Bryan.
What?
Please tell me that's a real wrestler. Dude, there's a guy called Nobi Bryan in the world.
I'll look this up.
It may be said differently, but I'm always going to call him Nobi, obviously.
Yeah. Nick Aldis only 34.
Wow, that's tremendous.
Stevens.
TNA was the little engine that could but never did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
probably
who it says. Nobi Bryant.
Tremendous brand. That's
that might
awesome,
be his real
dude.
name. I don't know.
It's even better.
Yeah.
The main event Mafia was the NWO. Feels like a stretch. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm Cracker Jane. I feel like they're very different, but I get what you're saying. The thing with, I don't know. The with TNA is while definitely, yes, a little engine by comparison to the World Wrestling Federation, they did also have an all-star roster with Spike TV. And it's like, it really feels like they should have done better with that, you know? Hiring Russo 4 times or whatever it was is also one of my beefs with TNA. Very bad. For a time from 05 to 11, TNA wasn't WWE, and that's all little Bud Bryan needed. I said your full name there, even though you didn't say it. No, you did say it, it's fine. So it's near and dear to me. I get that. I do get that. But I don't think it was ever as different as, like, pure pre-Bischoff WCW was. You know? It was different because it was, like, more edgy because eventually they went to PG and all that stuff. I get that. But, like, I don't know. A lot of it was very WWE to me, TNA stuff. Like, it had the X Division, but WCW had like a genuinely different feel and identity because of its NWA roots. TNA was always kind of like wacky, and I don't know. I get it, Chris, but like, I don't think they're an underdog story. I guess is my point. Like, to me, when I hear like when I think of a promotion that like overachieved and did a lot of good with very little, I think of ECW. With Impact, it's like, oh, you idiots, you blew it. Which is a shame. Nash was very funny, though, I agree. I get you, I'm Cracker Jake. I get what you're saying. Main event method was NWA members, not legacy, impact, or significance. Yeah, exactly. Should NXT bring down the Dirty Dogs? Because you're right, Joseph. I'd love that. I think they could have some great matches with who's going to MS. They would have an actual great match with MSK. You know that, right? Imagine how good that'd be. Southern tag with those guys would be tremendous. TNA made Raven the NWA World Champion. Where else in wrestling are you going to get that? I don't know if you try to win me over with that or not, but God bless. Dude, when he came into TNA and he was like red hot and Jarrett just beat him, how good was that? Have you seen that stuff, Jeremy?
What? Sorry,
when he first comes in, like, Raven first comes in, he's like red hot, and Jeff Jarrett beats him flat with his finish.
Yeah.
Some of the best Jeff Jarrett stuff ever.
Dude, Jeff.
Dude, if Cody did that, it would be like sniped. Like he'd be over.
Jeff's lucky that social media wasn't around when like his whole run was happening, because he would have.
It was like really transparent. Like, I just want to be a top guy stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
It
was like Aldis, but Aldis is just doing it in like the 8th biggest promotion, and Jarrett was doing it in the 2nd.
Yeah, but there's you're right. I'm not even gonna argue, because also like Aldis' like TNA World Title run was like kind of a miss in the same way that Jeff's WCW stuff was. So it was like proving a point. You know, I am a top guy. I promise. Jordan Clearwater is good. I like him. You know, he's like the Machine Gun Carl Anderson's like protege.
Who?
Jordan Clearwater. He's on New Japan Strong.
Oh, is he?
Skinny white kid.
Is he?
Yeah.
That could be described as a lot of people.
I've seen him work a lot. What was someone said something. Let me find it here. As a Ruthless Aggression, you're a fan. I did enjoy watching TNA until like 2013. I get it, man. It was edgier, and like people were crying out for that because there would be they did that sudden change. I do not know. It had stuff that was iconically bad, but also things I'll cherish forever, like Gal and Kong, Biss, AJ, Joe, Daniels, X Division, BMA, Moxley. See, this is where I think that me, when I got older, watching all of the ROH stuff hurts TNA for me. Because like, when you say AJ, Joe, and Daniels, my mind's like, dude, their ROH stuff is crazy. You know, like some classic old-timers. It's like, they have good stuff in TNA. They also have the triple threat. But, like, Feels like they wasted a lot of those guys too, you know? I mean, Daniels does a couple of years as Curry Man. Joey's just like a bum he's like the heavy and like the BDC and shit, like just cause at the end of his run he's in the main event Mafia. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm unfair. JJ claims the one thing TNA should have done is made James Monty Brown the champ. Bro, there's a lot of other things they should have done too.
Man, not putting that belt on Monty Brown though.
That's a big L. Yeah, that's a big L.
It was one. I mean, yeah, you're right. They could have done a lot of things, but like, that was such a big miss not to put the belt on that dude. That's the only reason I started my TNA 04 save, to get the belt on Monty Brown.
Bro, this comedy's on me. I can't believe poor Bob O'Neill didn't know Curryman was. Had no clue. I was like,
really?
I was like, guess. And he's looking, and when I said Daniels, the hair had thrown him off so bad. So right, now here I like this. I'm critical. I like this. I do think there's an alternate timeline that Russo never gets hired again in 2006, and they continue down the performance over entertainment style. Seriously, whoever first asked me what my beef with TNA is, these people actually hired Russo like a month after signing Kurt Angle to a deal. Oh man, it's massive L. No need, please, just keep them away. Just very sad. It bums me out. That's the truth, guys. It bums me out. I feel it could have been so much better, and it could have been so much more, and it just like, you know, one of my favorite like TNA quirks, dude, is they have like a relationship with New Japan for years. Their relationship ends like 6 months before the Bullet Club starts. Like, of course it would die before things actually get hot over there. I get that, Bud Ryan. ROH definitely is not like for everyone. It's just, to me, I guess what I think is TNA could have taken some of ROH's best stuff and like done it in a far better budget on national television. And instead, they just like didn't. And that kind of bums me out. Joe being a one-time champ, like stuff like that, it's just like. What have we got here? I can't watch most of it. Yeah, the Russo stuff's just, it's disappointing because it's not that he's a creative guy, but like they always would go back to him and they give him so much leeway, and he eventually like runs off people in the company. It's just very sad. Scott Demore's a smart guy. I think Impact's been pretty good for the last few years. Like, I would actually say creatively their peak has been the last few years. Their talent roster is a shell of itself. But I think they make the most of their guys way better now than they used to. What do you think is next for Finn Balor? I think Raw. But I know there was a report today from someone, I can't remember who. But I've only just guessed Raw.
The votes of Wrestle said that doesn't think Balor's going to get like called up.
Honestly, I hope he doesn't. I know I'm not an NXT guy, but like at least he's just himself there, you know?
Yeah.
He can just be.
He's going to come up as the Demon.
God.
The Demon Balor.
I'm Cricket says, I honestly do think Dixie would eventually get in the way more if there's no Russo. Maybe, but like... Because Dixie, obviously, there's so many issues, and like I agree with what Bischoff says when he talks about how they could have sold to Viacom and been like part of that family of networks and all this stuff, of course. But I'm not trying to dwell on Russo. It's just, it amazes me that after what he did, they were so desperate to constantly give him the ball. You know, it's just insanity in my view. I've never got it. And one of the big things with TNA that I do find genuinely interesting is, a lot of the years that people like remember fondly was very much dunked on by like critics. That doesn't mean it's bad, but it was always like kind of that way, you know. I mean, you know, our friends at the Observer, Alvarez and them, they dunked on TNA for years before it became like Hogan and them. It was always very, very controversial and polarizing. They're sending Balor to face Volta for the next. I hope so. That'd be great.
Man, I don't think Takeover Dublin is like happening though. I think they just like flat out canceled that shit. I mean, maybe I assume it gets rescheduled at some point, but like UK is not doing like crowds. Like they're still doing all that shit in the BT studios.
Roman's going to end the Demon. That could be fun. The Demon Finn Balor is ready to feud with Alexa Bliss and Lily.
Let's go.
Tough.
Let's go.
Very tough, bro. I gotta say this shit, okay? So you text last night and I said I'm watching the Sixers, yeah?
Yeah.
So I'm watching the Sixers, everything's going well. It's half time. I go on my Instagram, I see Alexa's doing this live feed thing, which I'm not going to dunk on, like, God bless, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I clicked on this shit, bro, and, like, Bud Murph is crying his eyes out. I have never run away from Instagram as quickly as I did. Like, not in, like, a manly way of, like, I don't want to see dudes cry. I just couldn't cope with it. Like, it was too much for me. I was like, I can't be watching dudes cry about this shit right now. It's 1 a.m. I can't be watching Bud Murph in a tank top looking jacked crying about this. I can't. I ain't going to even me. And I'm not dunking it because, like, I don't see the need to, but poor Bud Murph. He looked really, really upset. It bummed me out, Jeremy. I ran away from my Instagram as quick as I could.
It's a shame. He got
Swiped
released,
up.
and then he lost his pig.
I'm like, folks, I'm laughing at the BPW reference, nothing else. To be clear. Bischoff had no clue what he was doing in TNA. He peaked in 96 and fell off a cliff. My God.
Wow.
Sure. He definitely wasn't ideal that he walked in and was like, everything we've ever done in TNA sucked. I would probably have recommended against that. But that's Bish for you, pal. Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know how influential Bish even was, though. Do you? Like, he seems to. I know he distances himself now, but like, do you believe that?
1 second.
I don't know. Go ahead. Ireland's way behind on vaccination. There you go. Yeah, I would not have had Val Venus beat Chris Daniels as a good example.
Okay, what were we talking about?
Do you believe Bischoff when he says that, like, the only stuff he booked was Hogan?
In TNA?
Yeah, like, he says basically like, he had to come in because Hulk wanted him to, so he just looked after Hulk's stuff and the rest was like, do what you want.
And that's still an issue if the rest is like, do what you want. Then who was booking that stuff? Like, somebody had to approve it,
Russo.
or a Russo was just doing all that? I don't know. I mean, that's
what he said.
The Hogan stuff wasn't good either, though, so...
Oh, no, it sucked. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm not defending it. I'm just saying, like, do you believe... So, like, for example, that one, Val Venus coming in and beating Chris Daniels, like, the instincts is, well, that's obviously a Hogan-Bischoff move. But, like, I also think there's a chance that Russo was just like, holy shit, Val Venus? Rolling, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I think the truth is none of them should have been booking TNA in 2010 at this point, right?
Right, exactly.
NXT is good, but their top 2 champions are boring and overpowered. Yeah, going from Io Shirai and Finn Balor to Raquel and Karrion Kross was certainly a play. I think the Nasty Boys coming in that was definitely Hogan and Bischoff. They signed these guys. I just don't know if they did the creative for them. Nasty Boys was, I mean, that's like Hogan's boys, of course. He's Nasty Boys. We always end up back on TNA and Hogan and the Bischoff and. He spent all the money and more. He saw X Division as cruiserweights. Oh my God, small guys who flipped, who can't get over. And Russo's the same, but it was a dying division before. At least it was great wrestling on the show that we could all enjoy. The X Division thing's interesting. I don't know I actually don't know how I feel about it. I do think there's like saying too. All the old WWE guys are like, "What is it?" And they always just used to say "No Limits," which I do think is very funny. But at the same time, yeah, they probably shouldn't have just like killed the division. I don't know what was going on in like 2008, 2009 though, where in the X Division. If you can help on that, JJ, I'll know. TNA 2010 isn't even car crash good. It's worse than WCW 2000. My God. Doing both Raquel and Cross at the same time or not having a particularly interesting non-title feud is killing them. Indeed. No one wanted the Nasty Boys there. Is there a women's casino battle royale? No. It's going to be all out. I think Tony said.
Yeah, the casino battle royal is at all out. That's what Tony said.
There you go. I Because, you know, you brought up a moment ago, and it's still my favourite thing that you thought Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy were different the other way around. I still think that's so wonderful. Like, just truly, like, magical stuff. I can't stress enough how much I like it. It's great.
I was dying last night telling this story. Just cackling.
It's just so ridiculous. Like, if they had just finished, like, if it was Cutler and Blake who just teamed, I'd be like, okay, fine. But they went to such different paths, dude.
Dude, when I was telling this story, I for the life of me could not get their name straight either. I was like, it was Wesley Murphy and Buddy Blake, and like, and the EP is like, huh, what are you talking about? And I'm like, no, this is who they were. This was their team, Blake and Murphy. That was the team name. And she's like, so which one's which? I was like, the one dude just got released, and the other dude, right, I think he's still on SmackDown, and that's the dude with the pig and everything.
Bro, someone, I might have been the Fray, I can't remember who it was, but it's like I tweeted, they said something, and I said about what I just said to you about, you know, Bud Murph, bless him, crying, and he DM'd me and goes, when you said that, like, why did you do that? I had no choice but to go and look at it myself, and now I'm doing the same. Why is it? And again, folks, you know me. I'm not one of these. I'm not some sort of outdated idiot that's like, you know, no emotion. That's not me. I'm a Burke, obviously. But when you see a dude, especially if it's a big dude, balling, it's like, I can't do it, Jeremy Lambert.
Yeah.
Is that a me thing, or do you feel that?
Nah, I get you.
Like, I feel like if I'd have clicked on that and it was like Ember Moon crying, or I don't know, Alexa, it's like, God bless. Bud Murph, I was like, throw my phone away, get away. It was terrible scenes. I'm curious, if Nick Gage isn't the Joker, then who is? I don't know who said it earlier, it might be Bills Matthew, was like John Silver. And I think that's actually a really good shout.
I think somebody said John Silver before. I don't remember which stream it was that I was doing. I feel like the three consensus picks are Gage, Silver, and Paul White. Like, if it's not one of those three, I'd be pretty surprised at this point, because it seems like everybody's leaning towards one of those three.
What else have we got here? I'm trying. 2008, 2009. Oh, it was Jay Lethal as Expedition Champ. I don't love the Black Machismo stuff, Jeremy. I'm gonna be honest.
Dude, when TNA just went like, oh, we're gonna take these wrestlers who aren't as good and just play legends, like Stone Cold Shark Boy and AJ's Ric Flair and Jay Lethal's Randy Savage and Abyss is trying to be Hulk Hogan. Like, what are we doing?
Kirby claims, I always thought Blake and Murphy were the same person, which means he thought they were the tag team champs as one man, which is tremendous. I'm all for it. What have we got? Miro crying at the opening of the Brody tribute. That is a great example too, right? I was talking to someone about this the other day. Like, I hate saying it because it's a tragedy, and I never want to glorify what the show was, because it was a tragedy. A young guy dying, it's terrible. I don't think, if I cover this stuff for another 60 years, Jeremy, I don't think I'll ever cover a show as moving as that Brody Lee show. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
That was something different. And I hate glorifying it because it was a tragedy, but gee, it was just so moving. It was incredible. The way they did it was extraordinary. One Crackerjack said, "How dare you give me a shell, yeah?" People are now discussing the pig. I will not comment on any of this in order to avoid brand cancellation. Bro, when did you see like Tate was talking about Mandalorian or whatever, and we were joking about the legit boss Sasha Banks, and like I legit typed a reply out about her performance on that show and was like, no, I'm not doing this. Like, there's a chance people type her name in, I am gonna just not tweet about this, and I didn't, and I was better for it. No DMs, Facebook not hacked, great stuff.
Almatic, we had the Blake Murphy, that Blake Murphy you're talking about on our
Yes.
show. Very memorable
Yes.
show for a lot of reasons. And we asked him
Yeah.
about, being Blake Murphy. And what do you say? Like, he got DMs of, like,
Yeah, Alexa
yeah,
fans like
Alexa fans are
wow.
just like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
they
obviously, like, I love Buddy Murphy, but them two guys probably haven't got like a lot of super fans, right?
yeah, yeah,
Alexa, on the other hand, like, yeah, I can imagine that was pretty heated.
yeah,
I can imagine that gets pretty tough, especially when they were like together.
yeah.
Tough outing, let me tell you. They see the blue tick, they go in the DMs, they explode, they fire off. Yeah.
Cody was bashing Sasha and Roman stands today on the media call.
Seriously,
Yeah,
please explain. I did actually not see this.
he
This must have
was.
upset so many people,
You,
bro.
you saw the focus group comments, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was like last night though, right?
Yeah, it was last night, but I mean,
Hmm.
I think only like one outlet ran the story last night, and
Okay.
then everybody kind of picked it up this morning. And so he was asked about it on the media call, and Cody's like, "Oh yeah, I don't know what the term focus group means clearly because he's like, I said it, and then I woke up this morning with a lot of people in my mentions, most of them having Sasha and Roman avatars, just yelling at me about stuff."
Bro, I saw someone. I don't know who it was, and it was nothing mean, so I'll say this, but like I was out last night, so when I came back, you know when Twitter does that thing where it's like in case you missed it, and then there's these new ones where like you follow topics. I have not followed them,
Yeah,
but they appear
yeah.
like rest,
They're annoying as shit.
and it was someone I don't know what their app was, but they had the session, profile pic, and it was like, "Holy shit, dreams do come true," and it was a screen, it was a screenshot of session retweeting Alexa, and I was like, "Bro, Twitter is crazy, man. Dreams do come true." Like, Jeremy, is there anyone in the world that with one simple retweet could make you that happy? That is actual bliss, right? That's like happiness, that's joy. Is there anyone?
Dude, Tony Khan's replied to me, and I wasn't like that
Dude,
happy.
that's what I'm saying, okay? Like, in all seriousness, I joke a lot. When the machine gun Carl Anderson hits, it's like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It pops. But, like, there's not a human the machine gun Carl Anderson can retweet, including myself, that I'd be like, victory. And I'm sure the person was joking, but, like, I just read it and popped so big. It's
I
so
don't know
funny
if
to
the
me.
person was joking. Some of
I'm
those
just going to.
people, like,
Because I know that, like, they have. Like, you know how we have our inside jokes on Twitter that if you showed them to a normal person, they'd be like, they're insane.
yeah.
Like, I'm sure, I hope, they're the same way. Bob O'Neill played with fire when he posted the screenshot of Sasha liking a Gina Carano tweet. Oh, man. Oh, man. I find stuff like that to be so whack, Like, what's more likely, Jeremy, okay? I'm going to lay out two scenarios for you. Is it more likely that the legit boss Sasha Banks agrees with every opinion of Gina Carano, or that Gina was just kind of nice to her on the Mandalorian set, so she liked one of her tweets? Feels like the second one. Yeah, guys. Feels like the second one, but I'm mere mortal with this stuff. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think you might be wrong, Joseph. Honestly,
Maybe yeah. She's just
might be
co-signing it
wrong.
all, bro. We spoke about this this week, right? The Twitter like stuff is
Yeah,
wild, man.
yeah.
It's so
That's
out of control.
dude. That's one that like NBA fans go crazy over.
Yes.
Like off season Twitter likes. Oh, Twitter, any social media change and stuff like let's bring it back to Kawhi here because I feel like we're gonna wrap up pretty soon. Like Kawhi, I don't know how big he is on social media, but like if he's on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, whatever it is, like man, if he changes like one little thing in his bio or unfollows somebody or likes a comment, dude, people are gonna fucking look at that shit and be like, oh, he gone, he's out. Oh, he's definitely going to Miami.
The thing is like in the NBA, that is the drama.
Yeah.
Someone needs to tell the wrestling folks that there's like actual insane stuff in wrestling. Like there's genuine pieces of shit that are just like around in wrestling. So like Sasha, she liked some dumb person's tweet, like just cool. It's like when this one popped me huge. We sound so old. I'm sorry guys, but when Raquel won the NXT title, Bianca Belair was like, "Congrats!" People like siding with a Trump supporter, huh? Go fuck yourself. You're out. It's like,
Really?
hey man, like maybe I'm just built different, but my take on it was like maybe she's just like a nice person, so you didn't want to be, you just wanted to congratulate her. But I am, again, Jeremy, I am simply built different. Obviously, I do not just tie up these connotations to such harmless acts as saying congratulations.
Kelly Oubre and his camp think they can get over 20 million in free
So
agency.
incredible. That's incredible stuff. That's the kind of attitude that will get you out of the league, to be honest with you. It really is.
He's still like relative. He's only 25.
Yeah, but like, how bad was he this year? Am I wrong? Didn't he have like a horrific season?
He averaged 15.
Oh, I'm wrong. My apologies.
31% from three. 6 rebounds. Like, dude, he's still a useful player. 20 million? I don't know about that, but like,
I remember he started the season shooting
yeah,
so bad, like terribly. I didn't realize he'd sort of turned
I don't think
the
he was a good fit on the Warriors. Like, I just don't think he was a good fit on that team. Dude's a lot of fucking stupid teams out there. You see the contracts the Pistons handed out last year? Like,
You just brought out the Warriors. I know we're getting off here in a minute. When Steph give that ball to Draymond at the end of regulation, and he just like shuffled forward. Like that, like when I talked about panic earlier, throwing my phone away for Instagram, brother, that's a level of panic a man has never seen on Netflix. I mean, that was terror from Draymond there, where he looked up and thought, well, I don't want to shoot this, but there's 2 seconds on the clock, so I'm going to have to do something. So he just sort of charged in and did like this sheet floater. It was not even, floater's generous, isn't it, Jeremy? How would you even describe that thing he threw up? It was so hopeful. The thing, I know, like, we're not Draymond guys. I know you're a lot less even than me. Like, he'll have one of those games in those 2 playing games. It's like, man, like he's playing great defense. He's locked in because he's not a guy. Let's be fair, Jeremy. He's not a Pat Beverly. He's a great defender,
yes,
right?
yeah, 100%.
And like you watch him, and he runs a fast break, and he's played a great pass, and you're like, okay. And then it's like, you just need him to just be some kind of offensive player, like like just some. And there's nothing there, is there, scoring the ball? Like, there's just nothing.
It's weird in that, like, I don't feel like he was always this bad offensively when it comes to scoring. Like, am I wrong about that? Like, he shot, this is an all-star season. He only took 3, but he shot 38% from 3 one season. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't feel like he was always this, like, horrible when it comes to just like scoring. And for some reason, like, yeah, you're right. It's not even that he's like bad at scoring. He's like terrified.
Just can't score the ball.
Yeah. He just looks like terrified when he's got to like actually look like he's got to score. Like, still a great playmaker, makes a good read and everything. And I actually think like he should have that. Maybe he didn't think of it because the time was winding down, but like he definitely could have. It doesn't say it was over 30% or 40% plus during the 71-3 season. It was 38%. I don't even know if that was the 73 win season, but regardless, like when he was driving, he had shooters to kick it out to, because they kind of collapsed on him because it was the final 2 seconds. Like, why wouldn't you? So maybe he just thought there wasn't enough time, so he just tried to get the shot up. But man,
he's got no touch at all.
No, none. Absolutely none.
Yeah, it's tremendous.
His single triple that he averages.
I know. It's such a weird thing to watch because like every time Steph gives out, it makes the right play. It's like it might be the right play, but it ain't on this team. You'd be better off shooting that thing. Steph with 3 guys on you, like you would. Yeah. It's very difficult because like the right play is obviously you get doubled, you get tripled, you pass the ball. When it lands in Draymond's hands and he's looking up like it's a grenade in his hand, like we see at basketball, Jeremy, he saw a ticking time bomb. The end was nigh, He did this little jog inside too, like he wanted to get to the rear. Oh, it's glorious, wonderful stuff.
Yeah, it was tough. I love when like Reggie always praises him, or whoever's on the call, Reggie or Weber. Like when Draymond will like score, because he had a play a couple minutes prior. It was like a layup or something that he finished. And whoever was on the call, like, that's what they need from Draymond. He's got to do it. He's got to attack. He's got to go at the rim.
Have you seen what they're doing with Marv in this playoff run? Have you seen what they're doing with him?
No.
Like, Like he's doing, like everyone's doing the games in a remote.
Right,
They're like
right,
separate, right?
right.
Like when Marv announces, they just turn the crowd off basically. So it sounds like you're listening to like an old man talk to himself. It's insane because he's lost all like. Jim Ross is shot. Okay, he's a shell of himself.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, he'll go into like Jim Ross, right? And he'll become. Marv can't even do that anymore, man. Like he's like a guy playing Marv out. So the crowd is down, and the other announcer's basically ignoring him because he's getting all the players wrong. He doesn't know who can shoot and who can't, where they play, where they've been. So it's just like listening to the mind of Marv on television. It's terrifying, Joe. You need seriously. It's bizarre. Like the Sixers were on. There was one game where the Sixers were on and they just turned the sound down. I was like, is anyone in the building? It's a full house. And I went to the Philly feed and it was like rocking in there. So odd.
Almatic, good luck with Andrew Wiggins.
He was another guy in that playing game when he shot that free that like just shattered the ball, And then there was those two, I immediately, like when someone has a terrible game and it's not one of my players, I type in their name on Twitter immediately, And it was that one like Draymond and Wiggins next year, and it was like it was Draymond and Wiggins next year in China, and it was Shaq and Kobe highlights, like filling it up. Oh, it's glorious.
Like
stuff.
that is the theory, right? You get Clay back, and then everyone slides down a spot, and so okay, everything's fine, but. Oh, trust me, Almatic. I know Andrew Wiggins would kill OKC. I can't stand him. Like he would. I hated it. One of the bane of my existences, honestly. Like, because people thought like they'd watch him against OKC and like, oh my God, Andrew Wiggins is tremendous. He's the best player in the league. And then every other team he played against, he'd be Andrew Wiggins. So it made it even worse that he'd kill OKC every time. So I get it. Trust me.
Davis Bertans is like that. And did you see his stat line last night?
No.
So he always kills us. His stat line last night: 24 minutes, 0 points, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks, 6 fouls.
Jesus.
Tremendous guy. I watched that and I was like, oh, so he's not going to kill us every game. Okay, cool. We got a game off. That's what would happen if you met Wiggins in the playoff series. I feel you'd get one of those moments. Like, oh, he's not going to do it every game. Nice, very cool. Okay, it's tremendous.
Why can't I find Wiggins? Whatever. Fuck it.
He's going to hit a bunch of threes, Jay, but I'm fully aware. I think the Wizards will get one of those home games. I do.
I don't know, man.
It's not good, but they have enough scoring that I feel like they'll win one and people will overreact. That's my take.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend about that series, and I'm pretty convinced it's a sweep. Maybe you always want to talk yourself into they'll win a home game anytime because it's so people just don't like predicting sweeps. That's what I've learned. I've learned that people don't like predicting sweeps and they don't like predicting. Some will predict game 7, but most people just like predicting 5 or 6. They think that's just all right, 5 or 6.
Right.
But I really think it's a sweep because you want to be fair. I think it's because you want to just be fair to the other team. It's oh yeah, like J Ben says, they got Beal and Russ. They'll get them a win, right?
Exactly. They can score. That's my theory on it. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I get that too. But I just don't see it, man. I really think that the Sixers are just so much better. Just so much better. And that Wizards defense is bad.
So badly coached.
Very bad. Man. Oh yeah, trust me, I know.
Oh yeah, you're fully aware. Yeah. I get that, but it's not good.
Yeah, they're just not a good team, man. They're just not. It's really
no, they're not.
It's really
the
not
fact that they had that run at the end of the season kind of shows you how much everyone's level dipped and people were kind of miss it. It was circumstantial, I think, as much as anything. I don't know. We'll see. It's been the way they play is also it feeds into all of Russ's worst instincts in playoff basketball. I get he's been playing great, but there's no rhythm to the way they play. So it's literally just Russ making decisions on the fly.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Look, Almatic, I'm kind of with you on Wiggins. He was a very good defender this year, and people probably didn't give him enough credit on that. It's always going to be dunked on because that contract's horrible, and he's a max player, and he's going to be a third option when Clay comes back. So it's if Andrew Wiggins is your third option, that could work out, right? But he's just gotta not be Andrew Wiggins, because sometimes he still just wants to do that little ISO stuff that just isn't all that great. And I don't know. I'm not a Warriors fan by any means because of what they've done to my team, but like I love watching Steph Curry play basketball when he's not playing against my team.
Yeah, man, Clay
fun.
too.
Yeah,
I think we all want Clay to come back looking good, right? We just want to see him playing again. And I get it, like it's the same thing for you, where like you have a reason to dislike him, but it's Clay, you know, fuck. Like
I tried to get his dad to apologize to me.
He refused. He laughed at
Yeah, he did.
And then he started naming Triple H factions, and Triple H was never in it wrong. I was waiting for him to be like Fortune 4, Legacy, Immortal, Triple H, baby.
We should get him back on as the Lakers. I assume the Lakers are going to continue to advance. Where are we at on that series, Joseph?
I think Chris Paul's health is a major issue. I mean,
he's playing tonight. He's playing tonight.
Man. But he's like, they're leaving him wide open because his arm's fucked. Like, he can't do anything.
Dude, it was so sad, the end of the game. Because he checked in for like a minute at the end, like in the final 4 minutes or so. He checked in briefly. It was so sad watching him snake that pick and roll and get to his spot and look so unsure of what to do. Like,
very bad.
I mean, Davis was like guarding him fairly well, but like Chris Paul hits that shot over Rudy Gobert. Like that's a shot. Like that's what Chris Paul does, and he like did the like hang in midair, try to pass out stuff, and man, it was tough to watch because he's usually just so confident in himself and everything. And there was game 1 after the shoulder got hurt, he had that wide open top of the key 3, and like that's his spot from 3. Just looked scared to death to shoot it. The shoulder, it's clearly fucking with him physically, like it's fucking with him mentally too, and it sucks.
Yeah, that's why I'm now leaning Lakers.
Yeah.
Just because, like, let's be honest, Booker's amazing, but Paul's the reason they became a winning team.
Right.
You know? Gets everyone looks. So it's one thing to be a great playmaker when there's no threat of you scoring the ball at all. It's pretty hard.
Yeah.
You know? It's a shame, right? I'm still not like buying the Lakers yet. I need to see it first. Like that team's just they're really pieced together, man. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting.
Luka's gonna tear him apart in the conference finals.
Wow. Luka and LeBron would make like Adam Silver just like that would be his Jack Crosby, Wardlow versus Nick Cage, wouldn't it? You know?
I mean, that's best possible matchup. I guess the Clippers because you want LA versus LA, but like
it's over.
You make like you get Luka on that stage against LeBron. That's a big star-making performance right there.
I was doing something and like YouTube suggested I watch Skip Bayless talk about the Clippers, and I was like, because I remember when he did the big thing about like, I'm a Clippers fan now, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm intrigued. I have to see it. And he was at a point where he was just going, just show me it, you know? I was wrong. You got to just prove me wrong. And I was like, oh, this is very bad. Like, Skip wasn't even spinning it. He was just like, they're pleading with him, please stop playing basketball. And the thing that's weird about them is, we've said it before, we've said it many times, the defense, they're just not the defensive team we all thought they were going to be. It's puzzling.
A lot of it comes down to scheme, right? Like, it's just a bad scheme that they have because their defense, yeah, it should be better, but they don't have the scheme for it, and it doesn't help them that like Patrick Beverly is clearly he tricked everybody, and like George and Kawhi, they just don't give a shit to fight over these screens. And I get it if like you don't want to fight over these screens in the first 3 quarters and stuff, man. To give it up so easily in crunch time like they do is. I will just never, and Paul George has done this for years. I watched it all the time in OKC, but I just don't get, like, you got to just fight, dude. I don't care what the scheme says. Like, you this dude is killing you. Like, you gotta stay in front of him.
No, exactly. It's puzzling. You see, Nick Batum's out there, fucking pull it up, try to go. I don't know, man. It feels like they look like they were going to be a super team, and now I'm looking at them and they're like relying on Rondo and Batum, and sure don't seem all that super anymore. Like. They'll be the most interesting kind of just saga to watch this summer because I don't think there's any chance they're turning this around. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I think they're getting swept. I really do. So
I don't think they're getting swept. I think they'll. But Joseph. Now the Mavericks have to shoot well at home. Let's see if they can, keep it up at home.
There you go. If that's what you're relying on, them starting to shoot bad at home. To be fair, they have shot like
They've shot
first two
insane.
games. They've been way above their average.
They've shot insane.
So now it's a matter of like that's going to regress, but are the Clippers just too beat up to even take advantage? They may be.
Dude,
they just may be.
The comments from Ty Lue and Paul George are just not inspiring. Like not
Ty
inspiring
Lue,
at all.
he was nearly our coach, Jeremy. That's very scary.
That,
the six, remember that? He was like the linked guy for the longest.
Yeah, he might have dodged one there.
Doc Rivers, pal. I'll tell you about that later when we get deeper in the playoffs.
Yeah, Ty Lue just being like, well, let's see him do this at home. Like, come on. You got to do something on the road, pal. And Paul George just being like, yeah, we're not worried. There's no panic. But if we lose, we know it's over. It's like, maybe you should be a little bit worried, dude. Like,
it's really bad. It's very sad stuff. I don't know where they're headed. It's troubling times.
It's not, and the thing with the Clippers of why I don't have a lot of confidence in them is like they were up 3-1 last year, blew that. Game 7 wasn't all that competitive either. Like, man, I just don't know if this team has some resilience to them. Like now they got to crawl out of a 0-2 hole. Like I just don't know if they had that resilience to fight out of it.
I kind of get the sense they haven't. I'm gonna be honest.
Tough. It's tough.
I can't believe we did it for 2 hours and 10 minutes.
I can't either. After we just did an hour and a half other bullshit.
Yeah, it feels like a different time altogether.
It does. All right, everybody. We'll be back on the channel in about an hour with Impact Watch Along. I don't know who's on it, but people are on it. I'm not on it. I'm watching Impact. Let's see who we can raid here. Let's see. What's the rest of the schedule this week? Are we doing Booty Pro tomorrow, Joseph?
I don't know.
Okay. Let me know.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll tell you.
Okay. Maybe
I know I'm doing like something next Friday. I don't know if I can talk about it yet.
Okay.
I don't know, but so we might have to do it this week, or if not, we'll do it early next time. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see, folks.
Can you talk about what you're doing next Friday with me off air?
No, because I don't really know what it is. So it's like I could tell you the same thing I could tell Joe, which is just like I'm doing an interview with someone, but I don't really know.
Okay.
It's very it's very odd.
All right. So maybe Booty Pro tomorrow. We shall see. Maybe a late show tomorrow night after Dynamite. We'll jump on here. We'll talk Dynamite and stuff like that. Saturday, Sunday. Sunday will be Double or Nothing watch along, so you can come hang out with us for that. And that's about it. Then usual stuff after that. Monday we'll be back on the channel reviewing Double or Nothing. Myself and Joseph. All right, everybody. Y'all have a good night. Enjoy your night. Own the night with the Impact. Talk to y'all then. Effie is live. We'll send you over to Effie. Say hi to Effie. Get that going there.
Just get Wesley Blake back on 205 Live, folks.
That's the released one, Joseph.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I hope he's doing okay, because I know he, that one,
His
right?
pig just died. That's
Wesley,
tough.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Catch y'all later.